odds, the in-game live betting, Betonline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL to entertainment and political props. Head to BetOnline today and get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We in this thing. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin'? Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. We up in this thing early. Usually during the off season, we usually call these streams Saturday morning Saints talk. But during the season, we don't usually do these early Saturday morning streams. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to you guys last night with a stream because of the earliness of the Pelicans game. They played at 6 o'clock last night. So that kind of took my attention as we did the Pelican post-game report and the Pelican live game scoreboard. So, but I just shifted the show for this morning to cheat the family members. But shout out to you guys and appreciate you for being in the stream. Much love to the Queen, T-Mama. Much love, baby. Appreciate you. Quavadius, Jermaine, much love. Good to see y'all out here. Brother Nathan, good to see you, sir. Appreciate you as well. Bronze Flat Power God, Hemisphere. OG Jerry, shout out to you as well, bro. Tommy Thompson says, praying for the complete restoration for Olave, thinking the Saints are going to surprise the NFL world, include myself, and beat the Falcons tomorrow. Go Saints. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate that, man. And much love. It says, boo. Hey, but this is the thing, man. There's a poll question there in the chat there, fam. Please feel free to kind of get on that thing and kind of let me know how you guys feel about the matchup. The poll question in today's stream is, who wins the Week 10 matchup? Is it the Saints or the Falcons? Well, so far, 62% of the pollers say the Saints are going to beat the Falcons versus 38%. We did a preview screen as well. What was it? Thursday, me and a Big Low from Big Low Country. If y'all didn't get an opportunity to check that out, please feel free to check that out. Anyway, let's jump right into it, man, because I got a few things I want to talk about with you guys. Interesting, the Saints play the Falcons here in the Dome, and then they have the LSU meets up with the Crimson Tide, this in Tiger Stadium. So it's going to be an interesting weekend. Anyway, the news is Saints reportedly will play star receiver on the injury reserve. New Orleans lose yet another star to the IR. And this was something that a lot of people anticipated would happen. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave is expected to be placed on injury reserve per multiple reports on Saturday morning. Olave suffered a concussion early in last week's loss to the Carolina Panthers. Olave has 2 diagnosed concussions this year and was evaluated for another 2 weeks ago against the Chargers. He's also been diagnosed with additional concussions early in his short 3-year NFL career with the Saints. Interim coach Darren Rizzi said earlier this week that Olave will consult with specialists in his family to determine the best path for the future. Being placed on IR requires him to miss a minimum of 4 games, but it could be the remainder of the season for precautionary reasons. Olave, of course, was the first-round choice by the Saints out of the 22 draft out of Ohio State. He was 11th overall, and he's just been fantastic, man. Chris Olave, since he's been here, has been a fantastic player for the black and gold. He's been awesome. He's done all of the terrific things that you could possibly ask a wide receiver to do. He's been all world. And it's most unfortunate that he has been dealing with these type of, these concussion issues. But in the latest one was pretty interesting in its own right. And I want to share this with you guys. This is one of our most hated but respected rivals that we played against for years. And this is his take. This is Steve Smith, the Carolina Panther great wide receiver, small dude, big heart, big game. This is what his thoughts on the Chris Olave situation. Listen to this.
Take on the ball. Derek Carr threw Chris Olave. That thankfully he is healthy. He's out of the hospital, obviously taken off the field on a backboard on a cart. Scary looking situation. Also his 5th concussion of his career, includes one in college. What was your take on the ball? First off, because that's what Michael Thomas is what started this whole Twitter extravaganza.
Well, I mean, it was a tight window. He probably shouldn't have threw the ball in. How about that?
Let me ask you this, because I asked another receiver, Steve. It was that ball should be low or dirted. Like it should be my guy can catch it low, or it's borderline into the dirt. Is that a proper analysis for that type of spot on the field?
I generally would like the football more in my chest because that allows me to kind of pick my options. Right? I don't really like a low ball because I'm 5'9", so it's just I don't really like diving for the ball like that because I already fractured my neck in college. So I'm a little sensitive to the low passes.
Okay.
I always felt throw the ball here and I can protect myself. If you throw it here, now you've taken that out of my hands. And now I have to depend on you to direct me where to go. And I never really liked that. I would go up begrudgingly. Like I would go up like, and roll my eyes and puff because I knew I couldn't control it. And we talked about this. I'm a one-legged jumper. So I rarely jumped off 2 legs unless it was in the end zone where I'm going straight up. If I'm going forward, I would always go with 1 leg. So that's why I preferred catching the ball in my chest because I always had 1 foot up, which means I was looking, okay, if the ball's here, he's telling me that the defender is coming. So that would tell me with my 1 foot, I would be able to spin the other way. Now, that is not always the case, but I'm just telling you from my mindset of how I played the game, what I would do based on my body mechanics and how I played the game from the shoulders up, which is 1 leg, depending on the ball, meant how I would turn, how I would catch the ball, and how I would protect myself. With that all being said, it was a tight throw. Mm-hmm. Carr always has kind of, when you rush him, he's always kind of panicked and kind of hesitates with throwing the football. That's one of his MOs. That's one of the things that
it's been a trait his whole career. Yes.
But as a receiver, you also
even Steve Smith saying he's known to be scary out there.
You got to know your opponent and you got to know your teammate. And you know that's coming. So you have to decide. That's what they call a business decision. You got to decide, am I going to go up for this football? And earlier in my career, I would. Later in my career, I'm like, man, I done seen this movie before. And it don't look good for 8-9, so I'm not going to do it.
I get it.
All right, that's Smith's conversation, his thought process on the situation. And I kind of play that just to bring light to, because some people might not understand the mindset of what happens in this situation. And this is a moment of time of clarity where we can get some insight and understand what how important ball placement is in terms of the safety of players, especially wide receivers, especially when they're going into the defense. Different thing when they're streaking downfield and they're running, ahead of defenders. But when you're going into traffic, you're talking from a guy that played linebacker before. When wide receivers are coming into the territory where I am, I'm going to do everything I can to displace the ball from you, as safely as I can. But it's a bang bang situation. Not saying that the man threw the ball there, but that's the mindset of a quarterback, is to make sure you place the ball in a position where the guy can protect himself. And Steve Smith says it well. Also played RG3 earlier in the week, his thought process on it. So let that marinate and think about it. But anyway, Chris Olave will be sitting on the IR for at least the next 4 games. That's, he's good, but, we'll kind of figure out getting all these concussions, man. It's a tough business. So shout out to Bob, man. He did that, made a really good breakdown of that. Also, think about it, man. Cedric Wilson is out, is listed here, has been ruled out for this game. Bub Means is also on the IR, and the Saints are very thin in terms of the wide receiver position, and they really didn't address that position. This past week, I was anticipating them picking up some wide receivers, some more goddamn wide receivers. I'm like, man, listen, you got Scantling here. Put this other guy, put these other guys, what's his name? Cedric Wilson, put that guy in the street, man. What we doing here, man? We need playmakers here. Guys cannot stay healthy. All right. Anyway, that's on the Chris Olave situation. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that in the chat. But, just clarity for people, because some people don't know this shit, man. Some people don't know. But that's why I try to break that fanboy bullshit up, because you have to use logic to govern yourself. Logic. And the players are telling you this is how it's supposed to be done. There's rules and regulations to everything that we do. It's a proper way to do things. And that's not proper. So anyway, let's hit the Friday's injury report just to get a little background on that as well. Cedric Wilson, of course, is out again. This guy can't help it. No, that's not no fault to him. It's just, it's just unfortunate, but we got to get players in there that can make a contribution, especially at the wide receiver position. Saints have ran the ball pretty decently over the last couple of weeks, but it hadn't translated to getting into the play action involving the wide receivers. That has to change, because we're going to have to be able to attack downfield to make the game easier. You get what I'm saying? We need both. We need running and passing attack. I know they got this thing, well, we're going to use the tight ends. The tight ends only cover a certain area of field. You need them wide receivers to stretch out and go and get it. So hopefully Scantling, who's here, the big wide receiver with speed, could be able to step up and help us in that regard. Mason Tipton, the young undrafted rookie, and Bub Means is out. So they'll have guys like Pat Pettis and these other guys. And we'll look at their depth chart momentarily and go into the practice squad look. But anyway, this is the rest of it right here that happened here. Cedric Wilson is out. Kool-Aid McKinstry is DNP'd as well with a hamstring issue. He's out. Chris Olave, I just talked about. Lucas Patrick once again is out. JT Gray's questionable. So is Rico Payton, who was the 4th string defensive back. He has been dealing with a back issue for the last couple of weeks. He's questionable. Jamal Williams has a groin. He was limited, then was DNP'd, which is not good. Anytime it goes in reverse, that usually means that he's going to be out. John Ridgway, the 3rd, the big defensive tackle we picked up in trade with the Commanders early this year, is limited with an oblique. Will Harris is fully practiced and is on the way back, which is good news for the Saints, because Will Harris can play either corner or safety for you. So that versatility could help the Saints. Derek Carr is good to go with his stuff. Elvin Kamara is also good to go. Shane Lemieux could be coming back as well. Nephi Sewell is coming back to help the linebacker core and special teams. And Erik McCoy, the big center man, was limited with the groin issue. He is doubtful to make a appearance, but at the least point, we'll definitely see Erik McCoy for the Cleveland matchup. Well, we'll have him back here. The only approach the Saints could have is a game by game approach. You see, we have to take care of business with the Falcons, and ultimately after we finish with the Falcons, the Saints have to win one game at a time to fight their way back into this thing, right? That's the difference. All right. Anyway, let's hit the next article. Darren, and this is something just to kind of go over with the family members about Coach Rizzi and what's the difference between, obviously, y'all know the difference between Rizzi and a bum-ass Dennis Allen. The thing is, what new moves are going to be implemented with Darren Rizzi here? Well, let's hit this article, and shout out to Bob again. He's been writing his ass off, doing a great job. Let's cover this one right here. He makes a great job of breaking down the differences between the two, right? Darren Rizzi has put some major changes in place for just a couple of days into his interim tenure. And these are very nice changes, to be honest with you. And just for the, we've talked about a lot of stuff, but just to get it on the record, these are some of the changes for the family members. Like, okay, we know he's out of here. What is Darren Rizzi going to do to kind of reverse the fortunes of the Saints? Well, let's go into this article written by Bob here. All right. So is it Bob? No, it's John. I'm sorry. John Hendricks. Shout out to John, man. New Saints interim coach Darren Rizzi said he was going to make changes to the team, and those were very evident on Wednesday during his afternoon presser. He detailed those changes. He revealed that he spoke to his mentor, Bill Parcells, as well as Todd Bowles, Chris Tabor, and Lions head coach Dan Campbell. They're all good friends. Actually, a big reason he came to New Orleans in the first place is a rundown of what changed for the Saints a couple of days into Rizzi's interim stint. Changes Darren Rizzi made to the Saints. Number one, locker rooms, big. Locker rooms have shifted to where position groups are sitting together. This was changed during C19 and never went back to the way it was. Rizzi said it was very well received. This will help with the cohesion and allow the players to talk about things they just had in the meeting. For instance, good idea. An activation period. What's that? This is the period that's been changed to the beginning of practice, which essentially is a warm-up period for the players and a chance for them to get some sweat in before working. They'll work alongside the sports science and strength staff. Rizzi headed this up, and this will hopefully cut down on soft tissue injuries. Now, what's interesting about that one is I thought that was something that they were already doing. I thought, you just give them the benefit of doubt. You say, okay, yeah, that's interesting. But you would think that was something that they would be doing already under Dennis Allen, but nope. So, but yeah, that would that would explain a lot of stuff. That was not everything, but a great deal of things that are not an activation period, like getting warmed up, like you see fighters do, like in a locker room. You don't see fighters just smashing their ass. You see fighters shadow boxing, punching, hitting mitts before the big fight. They're working up a sweat in the locker room before they walk out there to the ring to take on the opponent. So you see them getting warmed up, and you think that what Dennis Allen was doing, but that wasn't the case. That's something else right there. All right. So once again, the activation period has been changed to the beginning of practice, which is essentially a warm-up period and a chance for them to get some sweat in before working out. Typically, when we get our viewing window of practice is observing the stretch period followed by a small window of drills. It's around 20 to 30 minutes. Wednesday had more action due to the practice flow being changed. The daily practice schedule has changed, and players are responding to it. Because a lot of these changes was changes that the players themselves were advocating for, and also coaches were saying. So you see them, they knew off bat what to do. Soon as you got this bum out of here, you knew exactly what you needed to do to flip things. The players like, hey, we need this, we need that, we want this, we want that. And it just took off like a rocket, right? Now, also, Rizzi hired Marwan Malouf as a quality control assistant for the special teams. He has familiarity and worked under him during his time with the Dolphins. Malouf knows the system and will handle watching the film, and something Rizzi was doing, he'll still be heavily involved. And this is another big one. This is another big one. Ty Grantham, who was the defensive line coach the Saints picked up, the guy with all the college experience and all this, is out as the defensive line room, out of the defensive line, and is now an assistant or an advisor to Brian Young. Now, Brian Young been here for a very long time. I've often heard players especially in the defensive line room or the defensive end room, talk a lot about Brian Young, listed as the, what is this term? The pass, the pass rush specialist coach. Now he's the defensive line coach. I thought that was the best move that I heard of, like, on that defense, because if you look at what's been happening with the Saints up front, it's not been good, and the change was needed. And that's what I was saying. It's like, man, we need to snatch some of these guys down and take their jobs away from them. That's what you're supposed to do when you losing 7 games in a row, fam. Some coaching and players are not syncing. Something's not going on here. And this guy who was running the team was stupid. He kept doing the same. They're just blind, just a dumbass, just stupid. And then you got this idiot on top of the team. Oh, hold on, Gil, don't do it yet. Work on the workout way out of it. Shut up. So guys are making the change the way it's supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do. If guys are not doing their job, you get them out of there. Get their asses out of here. You see what I'm saying? And listen, it sounds rough on it, but we trying to win something. We ain't got time to play no games here. We trying to win something. We operating with a certain amount of time. We got to get this shaking and popping. You see what I'm talking about? And it is the longer you wait, the more time you lose. So we don't have time for all this. So Ty Grantham, his ass is out as the defensive line coach, and Brian Young is the man. And also, we know Joe Woods will be calling the plays, which is something that we advocated for over the last couple of years since Joe Woods been here. He's been a guy that's been in the NFL. He's done a lot of jobs. Joe Woods is a smart coach. I like Joe Woods. Y'all like Joe Woods. Joe Woods is very intelligent. Let Joe Woods call these plays. Even when the defense was tanking and going down, this idiot's still sitting up here calling the plays. So let Joe let Joe handle the defense, and we'll see what changes. Now, according to what I've been seeing some of the footage, a lot of what's been happening in terms of the defense, it's an uptick, a big uptick. And it comes at the right time because the Saints need this change in this philosophy to galvanize the force through. So a lot of change is happening there, and that's what you need to kind of reverse your fortunes, because they have the talent. You just had no leadership there. And like I said, the team can't win despite the coach. The coach, whoever the coach is, his mentality will dominate the team. So if he's a sashaying ass, backstabbing, possum face loser, then your team is going to be a sashaying back ass, crazy, up and down ass team. It's just what it is. That's the philosophy and the phonetics of football. That's just what it is. So anyway, Brian Young, pass rush specialist, will run the defensive line. Young and linebacker coach Michael Hodges will handle the run game for the defense. Secondary coach Marcus Robertson and Woods will handle the passing game plan. The team even changed practice looks, flipping the offense and defense to the opposite side of the field. Normally, the defense worked near the workout room, and the offense would work near the goalpost. Rizzi said it was a cosmetic change that he wanted to give a different feel for the players. A lot of this is stuff that they were talking about, I'm telling you, underneath, while they had this other guy on top of the team. Man, we should be doing this. We should be doing that. Coaches talk, players talk, and nothing could happen because the guy on top of the team didn't have the vision. But these are some of the things. Shout out to John Hendricks for doing a good job of plainly placing this, because all this was said during our different interviews and all this. I don't want to inundate you guys with all these different videos about what they're saying. This article neatly places it right where it needs to be to kind of do that. So this is good, and we'll see if it translates to success. Now, if you guys watched the preview stream that we did on Thursday, I kind of gave my thoughts about it. I picked the Saints to actually win this game. And the reason why I picked the Saints to win this game is simple. I picked the Saints to win the game because it is a major rival in the Atlanta Falcons. The Saints already gave them the win, and the Falcons took the win back early in the year. And if they want to be serious about competing, I know a lot of people don't see them as anything else, but let me tell you something. If the Saints handle up and they play with a game-by-game approach, they could work their way back into this thing. They're not even supposed to be this bad. It's just what it was under this other guy. He didn't know what he was doing. He was over his head, way over his head. But if you got a coach that is passionate enough and motivational enough to kind of keep these guys and allow them to flow the game, things could change. Now, I think this will have a positive effect on the defense. It's a lot of stuff going on in the secondary. You don't have Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alante Taylor will be stepping up to a higher role as a cornerback in the room. You'll be kind of piecing together guys off the, way back in your depth chart as far as the nickel backs. I mean, your cornerbacks are concerned. You have to pull people off the practice squad, placing them there. We do get Will Harris back. This stuff mentioned a lot more of the defense than it does anything about the offense. The offense is stat quo. That's one thing he said, that the offense will be fine. Now, also, listen, now he focused on the defense and did some stuff with special teams. At the same time, Darren Rizzi really needed to do something with that offense. I was looking forward to see what was going to happen on offense. He feels like, hey, man, the offense is, I guess it's all right. Well, listen, you need more players. You need more people, especially on the offensive side of things. On the transaction alert, this was broadcast early in the week about Will Harris and all these guys, but the Saints signed defensive tackle Ryder Anderson and defensive end Trajan Jeffcoat and running back Xavier Valade to the practice squad. So the Saints added a few people. I was looking forward to them getting some wide receivers or something. I mean, we need wide outs more than anything, man. But the Saints are going to go with what they got. Let me show you guys the practice squad for the black and gold right now. Hold on. Let me show you who they got on the practice squad. And like I said, our wide receiver room is beat to hell. Here's the practice squad right here. Kevin Austin Jr., who is a one-year pro from Notre Dame. He's 6'2", 200 pounds. He'll be called upon to come in there and make something happen. And any other wide receivers that are available, like Dante Pettis, who's a 6-year veteran from the University of Washington, 6'1", 195. He might be called upon to make up plays. You get Equimia St. Brown, who's a big possession receiver in his 7th year. Y'all guys know about him. And those are the 3 wide receivers that we have that are, that are on the practice squad. Pettis, Equimia St. Brown, and Kevin Austin Jr. So our wide receivers damn sure need to step up and do something, man. If you think about it, man, they really do. You can see this list. Chris Olave's out. Cedric Wilson's out. Bub Means is out. Rashid Shaheed's out. So you got, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You got Mason Tipton. You got Jermaine Jackson, who's usually just handles the return duty. So you'll more than likely see 2 guys elevated, if that, to help out the wide receiver. So, we'll see what the Saints got going on offensively, but they need to get down the field. So that puts a lot of pressure on perhaps Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the big wide receiver, to kind of make some plays to kind of get up the field with the running attack, because the Saints have been doing a pretty damn good job of running the football. And shout out to Elvin Kamara. I think Elvin Kamara needs like 27 yards. AK-41 needs like 27 yards or something, 47 yards, I think it is. Y'all put it in the chat of what he needs to eclipse the Saints' all-time rushing record. And he'll get that in this matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully it'll be what it needs to be. Is it 13, Jacob? Okay, Jacob says, is that 13? Okay, thank you. All right, is it 12 yards? 13, 12 yards, y'all wrong. Okay, there you go. Thank you, family. Y'all are in the same vicinity. Kathleen says, Q, did you hear that DA put, yeah, I know. I heard about that. A lot of people were, really upset about that, about what happened with him putting Kendre Miller on the IR. That guy was crazy, man. That guy was an idiot, man. Listen, fam. It just, I get, I'm a passionate guy, but I'm commonsensical at the same time. I don't like when you supposed to, how did this guy even get here? How did he even raise up to get to a position to be a head coach of an NFL team for almost 3 years, and he's totally not qualified? We knew it within, we give you a chance. We give you a chance to perform, to do what you got to do. Even though we might not agree with the hire, we're like, okay, they done hired this guy. Let's see what he can do. It's the same thing that happened. Surely he can't screw this up. Well, he drove it in the ground. He didn't change. He didn't do anything. He didn't study anything new. How in the hell did this guy get this job? You supposed to be hiring people that are qualified. You went through a process of evaluating, talking to people. You're talking to Super Bowl head coaches that had experience. You're talking to young coaches that ran, like Brian Flores. You talk to guys like what's the guy name? What's the damn guy name? Who's the guy name? I forgot the name. Flores and what's the man? Oh, the guy from Washington. I forgot the brother name. How the hell did these guys get anywhere? How did he get the job? And then you look at Loomis, who, after he was forced to fire the guy, he spins and says, injuries. No, the guy wasn't qualified. And then that goes to show you that he's sitting up here saying he likes the guy, like don't have nothing to do with business. You need to this is a business. That's how it's like, this guy don't know what he's doing. So you got a guy, he hires a guy, don't know what he's doing. And he's a guy that don't know what he's doing. So when Dennis Allen is falling through the floor, losing all of these games, the question I was asking was, where was his bosses? Where was the oversight? There's supposed to be oversight on all of this. Where was the oversight for Dennis Allen? Where was the oversight? Where was the oversight for Mickey Loomis? There's two guys that's responsible for watching the health and success of this team. Mickey Loomis, who has two hats, general manager and VP, and Dennis Lauscher, who's the GM. I mean, not GM, he's the president of football operations. How did both these idiots, marks, chumps, simpletons, did not do the firing? Why did it take Gale to do their jobs and go and talk to those players and the supporters before they pulled the plug on this guy and he was way over his head? How did that even happen? So I have zero confidence in any moves that Mickey Loomis make, because that was so bad that you say, damn, how did he do this with McCall? Because Sean Payton was making all the calls. I told y'all that Sean Payton was telling him what moves to make, and that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. Sean Payton was telling me, Mickey, do this, Mickey, do that. And he'll go and put the team, do this, do that, do that. And the best thing he did was go and gopher for those guys. I don't understand how. And the players knew it. The coaches knew it. Like, this guy don't know what he's doing. This guy don't know what he's doing. He's sashaying around here. He's a backstabbing weasel, lying to people, throwing his team under the bus. You can throw your team under the bus and apologize to the Falcons last year and still keep your job. And then Loomis comes out in his defense. That's a crazy backwards ass dude that needs to lose power. And word on the street, he's going to lose power. That's going to be a change in the top of the organization. That's how bad this was. That these guys are supposed to be overseeing everything, and they let this happen. And then this idiot was going to continue to let it happen by using excuses like injuries to justify keeping him here, when everybody can see the guy is beyond, is over his head. So it just floors me that these people are there, even though I basically broke it down, that Gail had to see it, and I'm glad she did, because it was a breakage of trust. The reports, remember we covered it on a couple of days ago when I did the report, the flash report about Gail and her, and the reports were basically saying that the Hoodats had something to do with the firing of Dennis Allen. Well, no, la-di-da. No crap, Sherlock. Yes, we are the support base. Without us, we are the guts and brains and energy and everything in the New Orleans Saints. Without us, it don't go. Without our support, without our energy, without all of this, it doesn't move. You know, and I said, fam, we'll grind this $6 or $7 billion operation to a effing halt if y'all don't stop this. And then people say, hey, these people talking boycotts, let me come down out of these ivory towers and go and see what they're talking about. And that's what happened. So, like I said, man, she's the owner of the team. She had to come all the way down from position number 1 down there and tell that guy and talk to people and do his job and tell him to fire that coach. And he was saying, oh, hold on now. Please shut up, dummy. Fire this guy. And he fired him. That's a breakage of trust. And notice the verbiage in which the report that Albert Breer, the insider, how he said it. He said, Gail and her group. The report said Gail and her group. Her group. That group did not entitle and did not encapsulate Mickey Loomis. It didn't encapsulate this president of football operation. Don't forget him. Mickey Loomis is a chump, moron, simpleton, and an idiot, a smug jerk. But at the end of the day, don't forget Dennis Lauscher, who's as quiet as a mime. He ain't uttering no words. Where's nobody asking the question, where's Lauscher at with all this going on? You got two peoples, not just one. Dennis Lauscher put his ass on top of that fire with Mickey Loomis too, because it was Lauscher, the incompetent, garbage, stanky, funky law firm of Lauscher and Loomis, who were responsible for this garbage that we see happening. So put him there with Loomis. Lauscher and Loomis are jointed at the hip. Lauscher is the damn president of football operations and ain't do diddly squat poop, in the words of our great Jim Moore. And this other buffoon Loomis. So Loomis and Lauscher go together, and as far as I'm concerned, you put them dudes together because none of them did their job. All right, Rich says, Q, thank all the money Mickey wasted on Carr. Yeah, that's an issue too. Thank you for that, brother.
Thank you. Fuck too kind.
Thank you, brother Rich. Yeah, that's a part of the process though, because you got to understand the philosophy of the team. With the head coach gone, that's his coach. That's his quarterback. When a guy come in here, he gonna want his own quarterback. I was saying it's the same thing. We've seen this play even from the draft level, where we've seen it happen with the changing of the coordinators. Each one of the coordinators wanted their own quarterback. We seen Pete the Rat Carmichael pick Jake Hayner, and then the next year when he got canned, they bring in Clint Kubiak. He took Spencer Rattler, right? So the next coach that comes here, he's probably gonna want his own quarterback too. The man is going to want to have his own quarterback. He ain't gonna want to play with nobody else's garbage and have a quarterback there that got this guy fired twice. It's just not gonna work. Nobody wants to do that. And it's accountability time. It's not word salad time. It's time for them to get to work because they done wasted all of the time that they had. They got to start winning out. But yes, this is part of the process. So getting guys like Erik McCoy back is a positive thing. Getting a guy like that back is very positive. Hopefully it can end up doing something positive. So he probably won't return. He's within that time frame, but you might not. You probably ain't gonna have McCoy tomorrow, but you'll have him for the Cleveland game, which the Saints should be able to beat this Atlanta team. They're not a super powerhouse. They've had some good quality wins and they're playing some good football. But with the Saints motivated in these games, these Atlanta Saints games, especially in the Dome, I don't care what conditioning you're in, you can't let Atlanta walk out of there with a W, because that means that your season is pretty much over with, and that gives Atlanta free reign in the NFC South. So you stop them, you split with them. You got to split with everybody now, because you ain't beat nobody in the South. You ain't even beat Carolina. That was supposed to be a win as well. So we got to win and do whatever we got to do if that is indeed the case. So yeah, it's just something to behold, man, to watch all this happen, to be honest with you, family. It really is. All right, and just for some of the family members to know, check this out, man. This is the current draft order right now. If the season ended today, this is how the Saints would draft. They would be third in the draft. When was the last time that happened? When was the last time we've seen the Saints this bad? It was a long time ago, family. We talking like in the pre-Katrina years, when the Saints were awful. Mike Ditka years from the late 90s, you know, or the 2004s and 3s and all that. That was this. And the crazy part about it all is like, man, you take a look at it, it's like, man, if you look at the Saints talent on the team, that doesn't even make sense. You got Elvin Kamara, you got all these guys, and you still can't get a win. I mean, it's time to turn it around. All right, but big ups to you guys. I'm gonna play Coach Rizzi momentarily, just a few minutes, just to hear his thoughts on it. But uh, a lot of these changes happen because the coaches know what they need to do. Like, man, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's crazy, man. But it's needed. So we'll see what the Saints can do. But I predict a win in this matchup against Atlanta, man. I really do. All right, Jim Kev says, Q, you're not looking through the independent circumstances. Yeah, you listen, fam. It's time to get him on the body. That's just what it is, man. Because Gale went, and like I said, it's a breakage. And I pinpointed this. I showed y'all. You had a direct effect. You had more. Listen, and I was saying it on the flash report earlier this week. And remember this: you collectively have more power than a Mickey Loomis or Dennis Lauscher. You do. Because when you say, hey, man, listen, we're not tolerating this. We're not coming to these games. We're not buying this merch. And I was telling family members, and word on the street is that the phone calls, the emails, they were inundated with emails and phone calls that involved not telling them, like I said, if you're going to boycott them, tell them why you're going to boycott them. You give you a list of demands. And the list of demands was the immediate removal of Dennis Allen as the head coach, the reformation of the Saints upper echelon of the team with Mickey Loomis losing his general manager position. And then third, and I threw a third one in there, which was lower concession prices, because the concession prices in there are too expensive. It's too high, man. $20 nachos and $12 and $15 beer, regular bill you buy from the store for half the price. They're just gouging you. How dare you? And then on top of that, they don't pay any rent on in these buildings. You got to know the economics so you can have a place to bargain from. You see what I'm saying? When you're in a negotiation situation, or if you ever been in a union situation, and if you got a corrupt union, if they're saying, oh no, please don't deny your labor. If you're a union member, all you can do is deny labor. That's your strength. That's your power. You stop that. I don't care what they say about that. Oh, you can't strike nonsense. You ever heard of a sick out? You have a sick out, you take your ass down to the urgent care, have a doctor's appointment. You do that for a couple of days, you'll shut everything down they got going on. They can't stand it. But like I said, that's your issue, to deny your money. And when they found that out, them people was like, oh, hell no. Hell no, we not going to do that. We can't do that. Because I told y'all, Mickey Loomis can't pay for the parking, all of the parking revenue. He can't pay for that. He can't do just an employee. You ain't nothing, just an employee. You have the power, and I've been saying that. And we ain't done yet. Don't go back. Don't support them yet until they get that Mickey Loomis character from that position. He can keep the VP, but he got to lose the general manager job. And like I said, Gail has her own group now. A lot of people thought it was Gail with them. The reports indicate, and word on the street is Gail has her group. Her group. Her guys. Now, who those guys are, yet to be determined who she's listening to. But a part of it was the players, and a great deal of it were you. You can affect change. You control it all. Everything from the writers, from everything. You control it all. We control it all. That's what I'm saying. If we don't like what you're writing about, we're not going to read it until you write about what we want to know about. You see what I'm saying? And we will call you out if you with this softball bullshit. We're going to call you out because we don't want to hear all of this. We want to hear the right questions answered because you see what I'm saying? So I'm just, listen, man, if the whole damn thing's built on them pretending like they got it all when they don't. They don't have it. It is a rigged system. It is really, truly that. All right. So anyway, all right. T Mama says there was no pulse cue. She says Miss B picked that up and said, oh no, there's no life here. I must resuscitate. She did that. I got to give that to her. She got pissed off and did that with the Pelicans. She gets upset at times. The last time she got really upset when she fired Dale Demps after the debacle that happened with Anthony Davis. She went right to him and fired him and put him in the street. The only problem is we picked up this other guy who that's a whole nother matter altogether. But thank you, T Mama. Shout out to you. Student says, did you see the article where former offensive lineman Pete said Dennis Allen lost the locker room last game when he backstabbed? Yes. I'm not, bro, listen. James Hurst said the same thing. I played it on Patreon. James Hurst came out and said that. He said he thought that Dennis Allen would get fired last year because he lost the locker room and he came out. But Mickey Loomis came out there and berated him, talked about it being not comfortable. And listen, like I told you, Mickey Loomis is like an absentee father, right? He don't buy the children no clothes. He don't, you know what I'm saying? You don't discipline them. You don't give them hugs. You don't take care of them. You don't do the best you can do to look out for them, you know, love them, take them, get their hair cut. That's shit that I do with my boys, right? You know, whatever they got, I'm riding with them. But this is the thing. You cannot discipline or go in and look and try to discipline somebody and you're not even involved. You don't see them people at all. You go in your room, you keep your fucking door closed, pardon my French, and you don't even go out there and talk to nobody. You don't go and talk to the players, reporters. And I said this before the report, I said Mickey Loomis not talking to any of those players. He's not doing it. And then when he does come forward, it's in a support move for a guy. I'm like, are you crazy? Because Mickey Loomis doesn't know what it takes to be a good head coach. He doesn't know. He's an idiot. He's a moron. And the reason why I call him an idiot and a moron, because he refuses to learn why he made these mistakes. His rationale is that it's injuries, and those are the circumstances why Dennis Allen was unsuccessful. And that is simply not the truth. But you can't get that in his head. So thus, I'm not trying. You're fired. You removed from the general manager job. You're a moron. You're a chump. You're a simpleton. You're an idiot. Because that wasn't it. The reason why Dennis Allen lost is because he was an incredibly off-code coach that participated in off-code behavior. He stabbed his players. He lied to his players. He lost trust. Then people knew not to trust Dennis Allen, even though Tyrann Mathieu was promoting, he's the cool coach. Dennis Allen is the cool coach, even though Dennis Allen doing weird shit, like lying to Jameis Winston, telling him he gonna play. And then when it comes down to it, he doesn't let him play. There's no place for Jameis Winston to go except for to the press. And I was saying, why didn't Mickey Loomis iron that out? Where was he at when the Saints was losing 7 games? Where the hell was he at? Where was Lauscha at? These guys are absent because they don't have nothing. They don't know nothing about football. Not in that case. They don't talk to players. They think they're up here in the ivory towers, the players down here. No, you can't do that. A real general manager got his goddamn hands on the team. He has the pulse of the team. He's talking to players. He's figuring out what he can do to make life better for him. He's involved with the coach. He sees the losing streak, goes and do evaluations and find out, hey, man, listen, this needs to go. You need to, if you don't know what to do, hey, take that offensive line coach, move him over here, do that there. Take that defensive line coach, get his ass, make him as an advisor. Let's move this other guy up here. We need change. Let's move this around. Let's take this guy right here who can't block. Let's put his ass in the street. Let's make a move. Get this guy in here. It's a constant flow of personnel from one area to the next when you have so many injuries. When you have injuries happening, you got to investigate why so many injuries happening. What we need to do here, let's go ahead and talk to the medical staff. What's happening? We have an uptick in soft tissue injuries. What do we need to do here? Is there something we need to do? What do we talk to the head coaches? Tell you, hey man, we may need this ramp up period before such and such. Well, let's go ahead and only do that. Implement that. Do that. None of that. He let it fall through the floor. And if he had his way, that guy still be here. That's how stupid that guy is. Even if he lost to the worst team in the NFL, that guy was still saying, no, let's keep him. He was still trying to keep the guy. He's an absolute flipping moron that doesn't know anything about this. He got that job, man. That guy, I told y'all, it was Sean Payton. He's like, damn, how Mickey Loomis? Because Mickey Loomis, just much like Dennis Allen, doesn't know what he's doing. He's just a bookkeeper. He's a guy, like I said, the old prohibition mobster, Jake Greasy Thumb Goosey, Google him, that worked for Al Capone and Frank Nitti. He would make fake books, which were what they went by when the people want to check your money. They'll have, your accounting books. He would make dummy books and would justify illegal money. He would wash it to legal money by creating, buying laundromats and all this other stuff and transferring the street money into clean money. That's what Jay Goosey did. That's all this idiot did. He way over his head, just like his dumb coach. But now with him out of there and him washed out of there, that has an impact on Mickey Loomis because he will lose power because it shows that him and Dennis Lauscha don't know what they're doing. Lauscha is supposed to be overseeing Mickey Loomis. Lauscha is Mickey's boss. Where was Lauscha doing when the team was on the 7-game losing streak? You heard nothing from Lauscha. Nothing from this glorified accountant. That's why I was telling y'all, and I've been saying this for a while, is that the Saints are built wrong. They're bad built, meaning at the top you have Gail. She's an ambassador. She doesn't know about it, but she's relying on these guys that her husband left. But these guys were only good as long as Tom Benson was here, because Tom Benson knew the strengths and weaknesses of these men. Gail didn't, until they were tested. But we knew Lauscher was a glorified accountant, because when he has interviews and he talks about the Saints, he always goes saying, well, you're going to send that question to Mickey Loomis. But you want to know about if you're a toothpaste brand and you want to make your toothpaste the official brand of the Saints football, you talk to Dennis Lauscher. He'll say, oh yeah, come on in here. They'll go to dinner and whatever. You take you to Red Bone Grill or whatever the hell it is, Red Fish Grill. Y'all sit down or whatever, and y'all have a discussion about it. Y'all sign on the deal. That's what he do. But you talk about football on the field, that dude ain't that. That's why I was saying over and over again, you need to take him out of that role, because he's no president of football operations. He's not. He's not that kind of football operations guy. This guy is a businessman. You need to create a title befitting of that, and create and get a real president of football operations that's over Mickey Loomis, and then take the GM job underneath Mickey Loomis and get at the Kai Harley. Let him go about the business of building his team back with a modern approach. That's what you do. That's 3 moves. 3 moves. Remove him from the general manager job, give it to Kai. Create a new job for Lauscher that don't have nothing to do with the president of football operations, and hire a president of football operations. 3 moves. Modernize the team. Very simple. Been saying it for a while. They finally getting it done. They listening. Like I told you, fam, they listen to you. They got to listen to you. Of course they listen. They listen to everything you do, because they got to know how to market to you. And if they know that you pissed, you ain't going to get nothing from us if you're not listening. If we realize you're not listening, you ain't getting nothing. We shutting you down all the way. We grind your $7 billion business to a effing halt real fast. We don't care about any of that. If you're not winning, you get no money, because we don't reward bad behavior. We don't pay for losers. We don't do that. So, anyway, shout out to you guys, man. I'm gonna play this guy in a little bit. Y'all got any questions, throw them in the chat. Mario says, going to have Carr for the next 2 years because of his salary, because you need a veteran QB in the building to help a young QB. We'll see, brother. But you're definitely right on the contract issue. We talked about that countless of times. What really screwed the Saints, because the Saints could have been from up under his contract after next year. What happened is they reworked his deal. And that happened early this year, reworking his deal to free up money. And in that case, what it did was it grabbed you and latched you in for him for the next 2 years, where you can put him in the street, but you would take a severe hit to do it. And that's why it was, when you rework the money, it created security for Carr for 2 years, because nobody's going to do that, especially when you're $60+ million in the red for next year. That is not going to there, and that's not going to happen. So it's something, man. Like I said, this whole thing that's why I was saying, when you get through the business of firing Dennis Allen, it's not over yet. I said that before it even happened. I said, fam, once you get him out of the way, you got to rework a lot of his bad decisions and personnel moves that's going to impact the team well after he's gone. So, and then you still have the caveat of a general manager, VP, if you won't call him that, who doesn't know what he's doing. And you, after such a terrible circumstance, you don't trust his judgment. He screwed the team into the next 2 to 3 years with bad cap management. You're saddled with bad contracts and players that are going down. So you got more money. You're getting older players on escalating agreements that you can't really get from up under, so you're locked into this, to a lot of this, to a great degree. The money stipulates. That's why I talk about timelines and windows. The money's a part of it. So Gundam says Mickey Loomis is not a humble. No, he's not, bro. Remember when when I played that last interview, y'all heard that last interview from Mickey Loomis, and he was talking to the softball Mike Hoss, and Mike Hoss was asking him, telling him about this, and he started immediately saying, injuries, and then he went after the reporters about an article that was written about it wasn't exclusively written by a parking spot. The reporter was mentioning stuff that, see, listen, he berates the reporters, but the reporters we have the best reporters. We do. We have the best reporters because we demand much from the reporters and they listen. They're not in no ivory tower. These guys you can talk to. You see many of these reporters on many different Saint community shows. They really are. And that's a terrific thing that the reporters, shout out to Bob, shout out to John Hendricks and others. They're easy to get to because they're people just like you. A lot of these reporters love the team. They love the area. A lot of reporters are from here. So you got the professional reporters doing their job. You got, people, the diehards and the content creators in the community. They're walking with them in alignment, and guys are talking. Our reporters are some of the best. They're not making up news items just to make it up. Whatever information they get, they're getting it from the players. They're getting it directly from the players. Our reporters are not making up any stories. So when Mickey Loomis went off and talked about that, that was one small thing in an article that covered a lot of things that was happening. No, it was real weird that he went right there to talk about that thing about a parking spot, as opposed to talk about every other things that been happening that the players were talking about. What's wrong with the team? See, the issue is he would know that if he would leave his office and go and talk to these players, but he don't talk to the players. And they don't have a lot of respect for a guy who don't even won't talk to him, but would get up off his ass at the end of the year and go and hold a press conference to tell people that life is not going to be comfortable for you. What? And once again, where was his little communication as the general manager while the team falling through the floor? We didn't get it in 3. We didn't get it in 4 losses or 5 losses or 6 losses or 7 losses. He didn't even go to the team to address them about the firing of it, which this guy's out of touch, man. I told y'all that guy's not a real general manager. I've been saying that. English says Carr is known for being late recognizing when a guy's open. This gives defenders time to line up a hit. It's on film, and Carr pretends he doesn't know why people. He's a fake and a phony, bro. I've been saying that about this dude. He sits up here and he does this same little choir boy act, I call it. It's a choir boy act because he plays these games and then hides behind this religion thing, this veil, this very thin veil of religion, this choir boy act where I love everybody. I love everybody. I don't know. I don't know why this guy's like me. I don't know why I talked to him on the phone. He got my cell phone number. He never calls me. I love everybody. Michael Thomas is the one dude that don't like me. I don't know why. I tried to call him. He didn't answer. He called me. I don't know. I sent him a picture of a butterfly. He sent the butterfly back. Sent it. Had a no sign on it for it. And then at the bottom of the picture, it had F you on there. And I was like, guy, what's going on with that? Why, I said, Elvin, yeah. Shut up. Yeah, it's a phony choir boy act that we're not buying, man. We see through all of this madness, man. We see through it all. If you study film, if you know what film is and you study film English, you're absolutely right. There are times when Carr, he's just fundamentally flawed, man. And Clint Kubiak had him playing better at the start of the year, but when he missed that time and he was out for that time, he went back to what he'd been doing for 11 years, which is staring guys down. That's why people get at Carr. Carr's like, I don't know why people don't like Carr. Carr's such a nice dude. We're not talking about nice off the field. We're talking about his football stuff on the field. He's scary. And that's even Steve, we just played Steve Smith talked about that. Steve Smith says he has a reputation of being a very scary quarterback. If you get within his vicinity, he's going to get brattled and wants to throw. The guy's gun shy, man. He's 11 years and he stares guys down. It's on the film. It pisses me off when I watch the film on Patreon. And these guys, some of these people are worse than him. These Carr guys, they don't know what film is. They don't study film. They don't understand what's staring guys down and people just saying, they just making it up about them. Go look at the film. If you know what film is, go study the film and watch for yourself and be verified that the guy he freezes on one side of the field. He doesn't even look to the left side of the field or the right side of the field. He doesn't pump fake enough. That would have helped with even the Chris Olave play. If he would have pump faked the defender, it would have froze the safety where that ball, even if it was high, it gave him some opportunity to land in space to come down. That's what Smith was talking about. When you put it like that, that takes the power out of my hands, which means that you're supposed to see what's in front of me because might take a look and I know that guy's there. But if you put it low, I can get it and prepare myself. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to you getting up here and I'm putting myself out and I'm trusting you with this throw. Like, okay, he putting it up there. That means he knows what his guy is. But if you're not pump faking the freeze, the safeties, the DBs or the cover men, or even if you're misdirecting, like if you you pump fake left and then you want to go right and then you go right. That's a measurement. You freeze the safe because they're staring at your eyes. But when he hikes the ball, he just looks and stays there. And he stays there and the safeties follow his eyes right to him. Super unfundamental, but I know who he is. He's just a gunslinger who believes that he has the ability to get the ball to a tight window. That's what he does. And listen, this is not a mark. This is not anything on Carr. It's a scouting report. What's up, Frosty? 504. Shout out to you, fam. This is a scouting report on Carr, man. It's a scouting report on Derek Carr. It really is, fam. It's a scouting report on Carr because the reality is he gets locked in on that side. He gets froze. That's why Jesse Bates gets him. They're like, why is Jesse Bates so good on Carr? Because he knows that the guy gets frozen on that side of the field, that he's unfundamental. He's a gunslinger. He's known to put the ball in the tight window. He got a strong arm. That's why I say that was his best attributes was if you get Carr here, you got to be able to know how to use Derek Carr. That's why I say, man, I broke down Carr and I'm telling you the best uses for Derek Carr, you can get a lot out of him if you get into the play action and you got wide receivers that can get downfield. He would get them the ball. He would throw the ball out there. Them guys will run up under it. That is his best skill set. But doing like a meticulous style offense with Derek Carr, that's not who he is, especially at this stage of his development. He's not that guy. But what kills me about Derek Carr was the fact that when he had an opportunity to say what he needed to say in that presser after the game with Michael Thomas and all that, and pretend like Thomas, he didn't know why Thomas didn't like him. He doesn't know the reason why Mike Thomas is upset with Derek Carr. Let me put it plain to you. For those who don't know, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's the fact that Thomas blames him for why he got hurt in the game. He threw a ball to Michael Thomas that Thomas had to go down low to get, and the guy hit him. He put him into a bad spot. And he was upset all over again when he did a similar thing to Chris Olave. He got him knocked out. That's what set all that up. That's what happened. And then the guy pretends like, I don't know what's going on in the interview, then says he doesn't know why, and then goes into why and says he thinks that I threw the ball. Oh, I thought you didn't know. Knock off the choir boy act that you love everybody. Oh, he's the one dude, man. Get out of here, man. We're not playing that here, man. Hell out of here with that fake choir boy act, man. Get out of here. You ain't here to be loved. You're here to do your damn job right. And as you do your job, people will like you because you do your job. I don't want to hear all this excessive talking about this. Take responsibility, because I ain't throw the damn thing. But I got to sit here and play professional athletes, explain to people why that ball shouldn't be put out there. And the worst part about it is, excuse me. I'm so sorry, man. Let me just keep it pushing, bro. It just is unfathomable to me. You got a son of a gun that's like that, man, that just refused to take responsibility. And this is your quarterback. So anyway, man, let me keep it going, man. It's just terrible, man. We got to change all this, bro. We got to change all of this. This is crazy. All this is crazy. We got to get these guys on the same foot. We got to get this off the chain. We got to get these people moved out of the way, man. We got to get back to winning, because this is well below our standard of football. I'm tired of this, man. Tired of this nonsense, man. We supposed to be winning games. And we got to sit up here and listen to this dribble and this crap because this idiot Mark Chump sashing ass fool came down here with this guy, and this guy tell his same mentality with excuse letting over and over and over and again. And I got to sit up here and explain to people what the hell a bad ball is. I got to get RG3 to explain what a hospital ball is. I got to get Steve Smith to explain why balls are not supposed to be thrown and why quarterbacks are supposed to know that they can't fit that ball in there, how they got to throw it. And then the next thing, this guy comes out and says, I ain't have nothing to do with it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. You did it. You did it. But then makes it worse by not taking no responsibility. That's why people do not like Carr. Understand me, Carr lovers. This is truth. I've given you facts. I've given you professionals. I mean, guys who are good at what they're saying. That's giving you insight on the game. But that's not just indicative to the NFL. I'm talking about college. I'm talking about in high school, even at the high school level. You have a responsibility to protect your receivers. I'm a defensive guy, and I'm saying that I'm going to knock his block off because my job is to dislodge him from the ball. So I'm going to knock his block off. It is not my responsibility to protect him. I'm being taught to dislodge the ball from the guy. That's what I've been taught to do. So if that's the case, then it's your job. It ain't my responsibility to protect your player. I'm going to try to knock him down. Hell, I'm going to try to take, you see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not going to be dirty about it, but I'm going to try to get him as good as I can get him, as close to the letter defined of the organization. I'm going to try to get it. So it's not my job as a defender. It's the quarterback's job that's throwing the ball. It's a two move here. It's the throw of the ball from the QB and the catch by the wide receiver. It's a two operation thing. And it ain't the wide receiver fault. So who is the problem? That's problematic. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying, man. That's why people, for my Carr lovers out there, hear me. Listen, I like Derek Carr. I really do, but I cannot stand. This guy is making $150 million. I cannot stand a quarterback that does not take responsibility. And it's a two-move thing. It's the quarterback throwing the ball and the wide receiver trying to catch the thing. There's only two people involved, and the wide receiver didn't hurt himself. And you're not supposed to put that ball like that. That ball was uncatchable. You cannot do that. And I'm not saying he did it purposefully, but the measurement is he's not supposed to do that. So that's the point on that. So anyway, it's going to be problems, man. All right. Thank you, brother Prime. Shout out to Prime, man. He says, hashtag, we try to tell you, unite and prepare, fam. Yeah, thank you, brother Prime. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Get fucked too kind.
Yeah, indeed. Tay says, dude had 5 steps before he hit Olave. He made a choice. Dude had 5 steps before he hit Olave. You talking about Olave had a choice? I don't know what you got. I don't know what you're saying, brother. I don't know. He's saying dude had 5 steps. Or you talking about Carr had 5 steps? You talking about the defender? Oh, he said the hit to Olave was dirty, regardless of the throw. He didn't have to do Olave like that, man. You know he didn't have to do. No, brother. Listen, you hell out of here with the defender, man. The defenders are trained to knock your ass out, man. What you talking about? You ever played football before, bro? You ever played football before? Defenders are not, they're trained to destroy you. You understand what I'm saying, man? What you talking about? Yeah, yes, the player's dirty. Yeah, depending. Yeah, that player's known for knocking people out. Yeah, he's known for that. But shouldn't you know that? As a quarterback, don't you read your scouting reports on your players, your personnel? You can't put it on a defender, man. What the hell are you talking about? That's a quarterback's job. See, these people with this weird ass logic, they try to build barriers around these players that they love and worship so much. So the defender is designed to destroy your offense, man. The defender is programmed to go in there and knock your block off. That defender had dirty plays before, yes, but that's on the scouting report. The same scouting reports you're supposed to read if you're the quarterback to understand the tendencies of the defense you're supposed to be playing against. Yes, the defender's going to come out there and try to tear you up. Yes, but if did you ever play football before? You understand that that's the quarterback's job to protect his wide receivers. It's not the defense. Come on, man. It's not the defense. It's the defense. But that's what I'm saying. If you play foot, now listen, I'm tell you, I'm not getting at you, brother. I'm not, tearing you up, brother. I'm just trying to, I'm a little frustrated about it because Chris Olave didn't have to be in that position. He has all these concussions, and I'm more concerned about the mental health of him, in terms of getting all this happen, him getting his bell rung like that. But what I'm saying is, from a perspective of wide receivers, bro, listen, it's not just that. Think about it like this. All these other wide receivers, think about what's happening here. They've watched that play out. You think they're going to go all out to go and get those passes when they seen that happen to Chris Olave? You get what I'm saying? It is, bro, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. As I played linebacker, I played fullback and linebacker. I love the linebacker position because it allowed me to be in the center of the defense. I was able to roam around and make plays. I was able to blitz, go get the running back. I was able to drop into coverage to cover the tight end. If guys were coming to my territory, my job was, like my coach told me, is to separate the ball and the player. Get a turnover for your offense. That's how I was taught. And it's, you are trained to, hit the guy. You don't want to hurt the guy, but this is football. You get what I'm saying? It's a physical and very, tough sport to play. Guys get hurt. But that's how I was taught about it. Like I would have to, I'm trying to get a turnover. And you don't want to hurt nobody. But, like you said, you talked about that guy. Yeah, you're right about that safety. That safety had he was a guy that was known for doing stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. That still goes back to the quarterback. You're supposed to, when you're preparing for a defense, there's scouting reports on each one of those players. Like it's been like if you have an offensive lineman lining up against them, I'm gonna play Rizzi in the first. Let me make this point. Well, you're going one-on-one with a player, right? You're going one-on-one with a player. If I'm an offensive lineman, I'm going one-on-one with a defensive lineman. There's scouting reports on each one of those players. Those scouting reports have a lot to do with their tendencies. It not only just give stats, but it also tells you what these guys like to do. Like, certain moves they like to do, which side they like to attack, which their favorite move. Some of them are very in-depth. Like they like to use the rip move a lot. They're a spinner or whatever. You get what I'm saying? The tape shows all that. And you got scouts, not just ones that go out and go to watch college players, but there are also scouts that scout the team that you're supposed to be playing to provide for you a good scouting report so you can therefore build a good game plan to defeat the team, taking their best tendencies away from that kind of stuff, right? And those players are supposed to study that. The coaches and all that's supposed to teach these players, hey, man, you got this guy, the safety here. This guy has a bunch of stuff going on. You got to watch out because this, that, and the third, right? Just like we knew that, and you knew that, they know that. They supposed to know that shit too, bro. I'm just keeping it real with you. They supposed to know that too. So as such, you can't put that ball out there, bro. You can't do that to the man. And like I said, it's a psychological effect because that goes through the rest of your wide receivers. They seen Chris Olave got carted out of there on a Garney flat. Didn't know what was going on. That's a psychological effect. Like, man, I ain't doing that. So they don't even go all out for him like that. So, like I said, man, and then injuries happen. That's not even the worst part. The worst part is the guy didn't want to take responsibility. That's the worst part of it. The guy didn't want to take responsibility. He didn't. That was the worst because he would have shut all of that down. Like, listen, man, that's on me. And I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stay in the facility. I'm going to go through my accuracy drills. I'm going to go out there and, that type of thing. But it's just a lot of talking, a lot of talking, a lot of fakeness. I love everybody. Get out of here, man. People are going to love you and respect you, not because of what you say, but what you do. Are you consistent? Are you persistent? Are you a stand-up individual? Are you a person? You see what I'm saying? You can't talk your way into something. You might be able to do it for a little bit before people find out who you really are, because action speaks louder than words, man. You get me? But yeah, some people, man, there's some people out there you can't even, man, listen, they don't get it. For those who don't get it, I'm sorry, man, because I ain't gonna be trying to sit up and tell your ass. I'm sorry. I ain't got time to sit here and tell you. I'll tell you one time, that's a wrap. All right, yes. All right, yeah. Riley says I'm ready for new scouts and GM yet. Bro, it's a lot of stuff going on. Dwayne, what's up, brother? Say, I believe the Saints are going to beat the Falcons just from all those locker room conversations. The team sounds confident. Yeah, that's what I was telling my brother Big Low from the Atlanta side of things in the preview streams. Like, man, what you think, Q? You gonna bet on? Hell no, I ain't gonna bet. And I ain't gonna bet because the last time I bet, you know what happened. So, y'all know how I feel about my stuff right now. A lot of stuff happened, but I'm on this right now. That's why I'm at with mine right now. You got to school. We done gave it all to you, man. We done gave it all to your ass. It's time for y'all to step up and show what happened. All right. So any more questions, fam? Throw it in the chat. I'm gonna bounce back to you guys. Let me hear what Darren Rizzi had to say. And y'all got any questions? Throw it in the chat.
Look at your ties. Have you been your ties? Yeah, that's sharp over there, man.
Can I make some changes?
Yeah, exactly. Does that mean you normally don't look nice? I hope the cameras are rolling for that one. Oh, good. Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
What we got?
Now that you're through a full week, just how are you feeling going into your first game in this role?
I feel good. I really this has been a really good practice week. I think there's been really good buy-in from the players with the new schedule stuff, the daily and the practice. I just said to those guys, at the end of the day, though, there's a lot of distractions this week, and the one goal this week is the Atlanta Falcons, and we kind of lose, myself included in that, all of us, have to block out the distractions and understand we still have a game on Sunday, and the schedules and the locker room and the activation. That's all well and good. But at the end of the day, we're going to lock in on the game plan, the execution. But I feel real good. Like I said, I had a lot of positive feedback from the guys.
Did a couple guys who have said multiple guys have talked about this would be their best practice week, or feeling like they've done some of their best practices? What does that mean to you, and how do you feel you helped to provide that?
Well, you know what, the results will show on Sunday, but I do believe in what we're doing. Obviously, we wouldn't be doing it. It feels good. Like I said, great positive feedback. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. I feel like we're doing it the best way, so all good.
Anything with the intensity or pace of practice, the stuff we aren't able to see, is anything that changed at all?
Yeah, obviously we have all the GPS tracking stuff, so we look at those numbers, and those numbers will tell you a story. I think the pace of play in practice has really picked up. We're trying to make it more game-like. You guys have all been to football practice before. Sometimes you just stand around and run plays, right? Just run plays. And so we're trying not to just run plays, we're trying to have a purpose, practice with a purpose. So, I mentioned, I think the other day about we haven't been great with substitutions. One of the things we got to get better at. We've burned timeouts this season at too high of a rate. And so, what I tried to do is look at the things we can work on. And so we've substituted every play on offense for the whole week from the sideline. And we can't be burning timeouts. We could have used a couple of those timeouts last week and ended last week's game. And so, so we're trying to make everything, as much as we can, particularly pre-snap, just like the game. Substitutions, shifts, motions, all that. Try to cut down some of the senseless penalties and the senseless timeouts. So I'm really happy. Wednesday, like anything, once you start and do something new for the first time, it's a little bit rusty, if you will. And I just gave a compliment. I thought our scout offense really started off the week slow, and today was our best day by far. And they really dictate the tempo of the drill for the defense. So just little things like that. But the pace of play in between plays, and I think Derek alluded to that the other day about, man, the most plays I've ever run. That's really what he's talking about, is that trying to keep the 40-second, the play clock, all those things, and just have a purpose. Can
you say where Erik McCoy's at? I was talking to match practice.
Yeah, well, listen, really good first couple of days, and but again, just a couple of days. So we're going to go another day with him tomorrow and kind of see where he's at. I'm not quite ruling him out just yet, and we'll see where he's at. But I also want to be smart with that. You could argue with Erik. He was one of our biggest losses so far this year. People maybe not thinking out with the center and all that, but here's the heart of our offensive line. Leader, and look at the results since he's been out of there. So I want to make sure when he comes back, he stays back, because he's a huge cog. I mean, he's a huge piece of what we're doing. So, but just like anything else, just trying to see where he's at. But I would say he's doubtful.
And that's the thing to kind of address what Coach Rizzi was saying about McCoy. He was a huge loss for the Saints because of the importance of his role, and it was very interesting when McCoy went down. It wasn't just the fact that the Saints lost their pride, the center of the line. It was his responsibilities and duties that came along with what he was doing. A lot of stuff that McCoy was doing, the quarterback was supposed to do. Like, a lot of that was supposed to fall on him. But to simplify and make things easier for Derek Carr, they gave a lot of that to Erik McCoy, a lot of it. So when McCoy went down, the Saints didn't even have a legitimate backup center. They didn't have a backup center. They shifted the guard to center, and as opposed to them having an actual center, a veteran center there who was running the second team doing the same thing. So if injuries were to hit your center, then you would take the backup center and slide them in there. And at least you would hold the continuity of the rest of your line together, and you would have a bona fide backup. So the Saints didn't even have that. They didn't get McGovern until a couple weeks later when they pilfered them off the practice squad from the Jets. So we were asking, like, the Saints, you have to prepare for all issues, all problems, or anything that can come. Like if you could have issues at any position, the kicker, the punter, the DBs, linebackers, defensive linemen, offensive linemen, whether it's guard, tackle, or center, like we've seen, tight end, running back, quarterback. You have to prepare for everything. And the Saints didn't even have a backup center. They had to shift guys around on the line and then go get Connor McGovern a couple of weeks later. So it was that's like, what? How did that happen? But it don't surprise me because Dennis Allen's the coach. We had concerns about the backup depth going into the preseason, going into the training camp, because we knew that they were kind of relying on even your boy Shane Lemieux. I mean, not Lemieux. I'm sorry, Lemieux. Lemieux that was there. He was a guy you couldn't really count on because he had a awful preseason. He was a guy that was dealing with issues and injuries. And when the Saints gave him when he finally got healthy, they pulled him off the practice squad, put him in there. He stunk. Then he got hurt. Then they pushed him, sent him to the IR. So the Saints really didn't have the veterans that you really would want to be backing up. So that was really a hurtful thing. And even when they started the center position, because the idea what Clint Kubiak was doing was don't have a lot of things for Derek Carr to do, try to make his offense as simple as possible by kind of moving things to other people. And McCoy did a lot of stuff that Carr was supposed to do, you see? And they alluded to that and admitted to that later on. That's why the McCoy injury really hurt the Saints bad. When you want to talk about it, not because just it's our better center, but it's the fact that the man just was, my goodness, man. It just hurt. It just hurt bad, man. It wasn't prepared for it.
The intensity of practice and stuff, but what has the energy levels been like, maybe the meetings and just the feel of the locker room? Really good.
The locker room, I think, is really upbeat. I think that the changes we've made in there have been received well, very, very positive. I see kind of a renewed energy a little bit, on the field and in the locker rooms and the meetings. And again, that was the whole reasoning behind kind of pressing that refresh button and kind of getting a whole new sense of energy. Sometimes, I'm from the Northeast, the old Dunkin' Donuts commercial where the guys are trying to make the donuts. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's not the same old same every day. And so kind of keep these guys on their toes, throw them a little curveball every day. I want guys running around, walking around with the antenna up, like, what's next? Because you know what? That's what a football game is like. Football game, you never know what's coming next. And, so we want to kind of live that way. And so, but again, the energy level's been really, really good. I'm excited about that part. And like I said, the players have really responded well to it.
Is there anything more you can share about Chris Olave and how he's doing, just in terms of whether he's met with a specialist yet?
Yeah, here's what I know. Listen, Chris is not going to play this week. I can start off by that, saying that. We're trying to figure out what's the best now for the long term. There's a process in which he's going through. We met with our people, and then there's people outside the building. Can I say every single person I'm aware of that he's met with? I think I mentioned the other day, there's a process. So again, Chris is going to be out right now for the short term. And we'll make a decision on the long term. But he is meeting with multiple, people, and everyone here, our medical staff's been in touch with all them. So just going through that process.
So that's the thing, and I agree with Coach Rizzi. It was the right choice because ultimately what ended up happening was they put Chris Olave on injury reserve as reported this morning, which means he'll be out a minimum of 4 weeks. And of course, this kind of flashback what Coach Rizzi was saying when he made mention of it. I remember this commercial. Y'all probably remember it too. This is an old school commercial that Coach Rizzi was talking about, right?
Time to make the donut. It isn't easy owning a Dunkin' Donuts. Time to make the donuts. Because unlike most supermarkets, we make up to 52 varieties fresh day and night. Of course, when you make donuts this good, there's a reward. People buy a lot of them. Morning, folks. Look for Dunkin' Donuts money-saving coupon in your local newspaper.
It's time to make the donuts. Y'all remember that? That's old school, y'all. It's time to make the donuts. Yeah, it's time. And then he had his wife. She would talk on there. It's time. Hey, wake up. It's time to make the donuts. Oh, that was old school funny commercial there, man. Y'all remember that? Yeah. Yeah, I think one of them was with his wife. He had several of them, but it was like it's a bunch of them, man. You know, it's a bunch of them that he did back in the day that was real funny. The little Dunkin' Donuts dude. Yeah, I think his wife was in one of them where she had a weird way of speaking, but she was like, "Yeah, you got to wake up and make the donuts." Yeah, it was a fun. Those were good vibes, man. That was funny stuff going on back in the day, man. Yeah, that was funny stuff. All right. Anyway, man, let me count that's on there. Coach Rizzi, he can tell where he from. All right. So anyway, man, much love to y'all, man. Let me hit some of these questions here. There's a poll question, man. That's there. 160 plus people voted on the poll. Damn, that got really close, man. That poll is really close. You're saying, wow, it was a blowaway. Now it was a runaway poll earlier in the show. Look where it is now. Who wins the Week 10 matchup? 160 plus people have already voted, and 51% of the people said the Saints win versus 49% say the Falcons win. Boy, I didn't expect that. I thought that poll would be a little larger, but wow, that's crazy, man. That's like a 2% difference there. Wow, I'm gonna leave that poll up until we get ready to leave and see how it turns out. But wow, man, I thought we'd have a further discrepancy in the poll. You know what I mean? All right, so let me see some of the questions from the fam. Thank y'all for chilling with me Saturday morning, man. Shout out to you. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We in this thing. Yeah, I'm gonna show y'all someone in the family will say, "Hey Q, who the wide receivers are? Who the hell are our wide receivers?" Oh my goodness. Well, let me put them on the screen. Then I'm gonna get to some of these questions. Fam, check this out. Here's some of them right here. Here's a few of the depth chart right here. And as you can see, fam, look at this. Chris Olave's out for 4 weeks. At least Cedric Wilson's also out for this game. Bub Means is out. Rashid Shaheed, of course, is out. So if you look at the rest of your wide receivers, you only have 2 healthy wide receivers according to this list, which was Marquez Valdes-Scantling, who the Saints picked up a couple of weeks ago to help him out, to be a compliment to Chris Olave. Things were looking up at that time. Mason Tipton, the undrafted burner at the wide receiver position. Mason really hadn't done anything, man, you know, to kind of step himself up and to kind of get to where he needs to be, you know. And Scantling, as you can see right now, 3 catches for 31 yards. They're going to need Marquez Valdes-Scantling to really, you know, to kind of get involved in this game and make some plays, man. You know, the guy's, you know, been in the league for a while, big wide receiver. He's going to have to be called upon, fam. I mean, I know he just got here a couple of weeks ago, but he's going to have to step up, man, and make plays for him in the passing game. He's a veteran and been here for, you know, in the NFL for a while. He's going to have to make plays is the bottom line. And then the other guys that you have here is just basically Mason Tipton, you know, and he has 14 catches right now through the season for 100 yards, 7 yards a catch. And Mason's supposed to be a deep ball, you know, getter. So Scantling and Tipton are your 1 and 2s, I want to say. And boy, that's going to be really interesting because Tipton can get up the field, man. He really could. It'll be interesting to see how the Saints employ him, like in that role, like from, you know, the speed guy versus Scantling, who will be the possession guy. And then you have to really literally have to go to you would have to go to your practice squad, fam, which is this, to find out who the rest of these wide receivers are going to be, because the Saints didn't sign any wide receivers this week. Kevin Austin Jr., 6'2", 200 pounds, 1 year out of Notre Dame. He'd probably be called upon. I wouldn't be surprised if at least 2 of these guys are called upon. Jermaine Jackson is also on the team, fam. He's Jermaine is mostly like a kick return guy. So, you know, he hadn't really caught a pass for you yet. You know, he's been doing a lot of the kick return duties for the black and gold. And here he is right here, 5'7", 170, a speedster. And I anticipate the Saints probably keeping him in that role as a return man. But getting back to it, Kevin Austin Jr. is a guy that you probably would have to pay attention to. He's your other wide receiver. And these are practice squad players, right? Then you go down to your next wide receiver that's on the practice squad. Where is it? I passed one of these guys up. Kevin Austin Jr. And then there is, he is Dante Pettis. And I remember they picked this guy up a couple of weeks ago. And Pettis is a wide receiver, 6'1", 6-year pro out of University of Washington. This is a guy that will be called upon to help out the Saints potentially. And he's had stints with the Giants, the Bears, and the Niners. And his catch total is on his career, he's 71 catches for 984, and he averaged 11 yards per catch. And he has 12 touchdowns in his career. So the Dante Pettis, he's a veteran. And usually you kind of lean on your veterans, man, to get in there and to kind of help it. And the final wide receiver the Saints have that's on the practice squad is Equimia St. Brown. Y'all know him. He's the brother of Amon St. Brown, the fantastic wide receiver from the Detroit Lions. And Equimius is, I don't think he's recorded a catch yet. So these, unfortunately, these are some of the guys that that we as a team have to deal with in the matchup against the Falcons. Now, of course, we know the Saints on the 7-game slide. Something got to change, right? We got to be able to change out of this thing, man. So that's just some of the family members asked me that question about, hey, Q, you know, who are the wide receivers? Well, I mean, you'll have Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You have Mason Timpton and probably one of these other guys that I made mention of that'll be thrown, whether that's Dante Pettis or Equimia St. Brown or Kevin Austin Jr. I mean, you know, that's why I was like, man, we need to see if we can find something. But it is what it is, right? English says, Q, how long do you think us withdrawing our money affects their bottom line? Gail marched down to airlines there pretty quick. Yeah, bro. Well, it'll last as long as we want it to. It'll last as long as the changes we want to happen, because we're not asking for anything out of the norm. I mean, we want a good product on the field. This is not a good product. You know, we want changes, and they'll do whatever, you know, you want them to do. They'll change whoever you want them to change. They'll pull down whatever you need to pull down. You just have to have a very clear list of demands and the discipline to move as a collective and to stay on code with each other. That's all we need to do. I'm asking you and the rest of the family members out there to refrain for buying Saints memorabilia, buying Saints gear, buying Saints tickets, going down the facility. And when you go down there to the Dome and all these places, you're going to buy food, that's concessions, you're going to pay to park, you're going to go, the ticket prices or something. So you hit them 4 or 5 different ways by simply not going down there. So all you need to do is do nothing. I mean, that's very obvious, right? So a lot of the collective, not everybody, but a great deal of the Who Dat Nation got on code to the point where they say, I'm not doing it. We shutting it down because people starting to realize their power. There's power in this. Like I said, man, this is a $6 or $7 billion operation, and it grinded to a halt when you said no. So who really has the power? I've been saying it for years. I'm a big advocate of you using your power in a responsible manner, doing it positive in your life, you know, stuff like that. I've advocated that over and over again, and we are practicing it. That's why I had to get up there in the stream and say I'm proud of each and every last one of the family members, and I got to give y'all a round of applause, man. You guys are the best, man. And that shout out, and that's a salute to all of the Who That's standing on business, that's standing on code, that's not going out there giving them their money. If you want to buy something, buy it from the community, buy it from the Saints community, buy it from our merch stores, support products that represent your message. You know, we had Fire DA shirts for the last, year and a half, almost 2 years on the pro shop. So if you want to buy from us or buy from somebody else, but give that to somebody else that's on code with what you're doing. That's what you do. You take it away from them and give it to somebody that's on code with you. I don't care who it is, but make sure whoever it is, they're on code with you. That's how you do it. You support the message. That's how it's supposed to go. So like I said, man, when they showed that article and I put it out there, I said, see, this is what I've been saying the whole damn time, is that this is who we are and what we are. And we have to throw away the fan thing. And that's why I have an issue with the fan thing, because the fan thing, they got this thing in their heads, like these people, the teams and all these other peoples, that you can be easily persuaded, that you got the mind of a squirrel. You can't remember what happened yesterday. You will forget what we do when we just keep throwing this at you and that kind of stuff. These people literally believe like that, man. They think they got you mind warped into a way where they can be able to promote whatever they want to you, and then you'll go for it. They literally got that. So I caution against that. I say, no, listen, don't do that. Use your discernment, use your logic, use use the thought, gather the information and operate with that. Don't exclusively just operate emotionally. Use logic, mix it together. Emotion and logic together, that's the proper balance. Use those together and get the full picture and advocate and walk with that power, because having that power, man, that creates just great things in your life. It really does. It really does. When you start and when you implement it, that's like, man, damn, that felt good. Maybe I could start doing this in all aspects of my life. And then you start doing it and realize everything starts to change for whatever you want it to be. So it's a great power to have. And that's why I always advocate for the family members. Don't give away your power, and only support the message when it's the correct message, never when it's not. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to co-sign losers. We're not going to co-sign a smug bastard sitting up there, berating reporters and disrespecting people. And he's responsible for the bad product on the field. We're not going for this mental illness. We're going to shut you down. I told him that, and we doing it. So, bro, like I told y'all, man, we are the truth, man, and let that be an example for everybody that's out there. If you're not a Saints person, you get Falcons or whatever, understand that power. You got that. You can do that. All right. So thank you for that, man. Yeah, whatever we need, how long we need them to. We still not done yet. The demands is like my top 3 is get Dennis Allen out of there. That's scratched out. Number 2 is remove Mickey Loomis from the general manager. There's word on the street that they're going to have a reformation, but until that time, later on in the year when the season is over with, we still holding that support. And then the third thing is to totally reduce the prices of the concessions in the building. When things start getting back to business, the prices and the concession of these nachos and all this stuff is incredibly too high. They basically took taxpayer money, reformatted the stadium to add more concession venues so they can make even more money. But the price of the concessions hadn't gone down, and these people didn't pay but a small percentage of the renovations that occurred over the Saints to the building. They did not build that building. This is not Jerry's world. He used his money to build that building. This was taxpayer funded money. Still to this day, a lot of the utilities and all of that is paid for by taxpayer money. So you're funding them. The least you can do, the very least, and I'm not advocating for least, but I'm saying if that had to be the case, the least you could require from them is to put a complete and successful product on the field. That's the very least they can do. Would you paying for everything? And you don't get a discount. You don't get free tickets, despite the fact that you pay for the rent and the utilities, the water, the power, and they got it lit up like a Christmas tree over there. I'm just saying, man, this is the economics of the game. But if we want to make change and be a negotiator at the table, we can't think like some rabid person that's not using logic. We can't think like that. We have to be equal-minded at that point. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to be equally yoked to sit at the table with people talking business. If you're not equally yoked there, you will be taken advantage of. You got to know your facts. You got to be strong on your stances. You can't be easily pushed or swayed. And then you have to be able to know when to shift, when not to shift. This is a part of it. And if we lack those things, how we get them is by finding out how we, reading and studying up on it. That's how we get strong in weak areas of our life. Go and investigate whatever you're weak on. Find out how you can fix it and be about the business of change. That's how it happens. So, I still advocate for us not to support until we see the removal of Loomis from the general manager position. Because even though Dennis Allen is gone, who's to say Mickey Loomis won't find you another Dennis Allen? You see what I'm saying? This is not the correct way to run an organization. He needs to be removed from the general manager position. Let him keep the VP, but by all means, he needs to lose the general manager position. All right, Cartel says Q. He says MU Generations commercials were the old Trident commercials when the lady called the other lady a cutty queen and a I think I know what you're talking about that. All right, shout out to my dog Randolph. Says now with the top 2 wide receivers on IR, which young wide receiver and tight end step up and take advantage of a lifetime? That's a great question, Randolph. And there are only 2 choices right there. Like what? Top two choices, like at the top of the depth chart right there is the veteran Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who's been with the Saints for 3 weeks now. He got to have picked up something, right? And then Mason Tipton, who's been with the Saints since this offseason, OTAs, and then when they signed him after the draft, he's been exposed to the Saints playbook, and now we're in week number 10. So we went through a ton of practices. These guys have to eventually be able to step up and make plays happen. So the focal point where like most of these defense will focalize on Taysom Hill. The Atlanta Falcons will focus on Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. And then there also could be plays where you can use Taysom Hill like a wide receiver. I mean, Jordan Mims is a guy that does have really good speed where you can use him like a pass catcher. It requires Clint Kubiak to make plays. Now remember this, fam, that Coach Rizzi came in and he made changes, a lot of changes to special teams and more importantly to the defense. He changed Grantham out of there. He put Coach Young over the defensive line. That should have big time results. And that guy should have been promoted a long time ago because he's really good at what he does. Made some changes up on defense, but that didn't do nothing to the offense. Like the offense had it going. No, something has to change there offensively. The Saints need to score some points. I think the defense will vibe, but we have to get these other guys involved in wide receiver game. All right. Yeah, that's what it's got to be. You know what I'm saying? No name wide receivers. They got to step up, bro. But Taysom Hill will be used with that. You'll use these other guys, but Scantling is a veteran. He has to show up. Tipton is a speedster. He has to show up. Jermaine Jackson returns kicks in for them. They'll probably see Quimia St. Brown out there. You're more than likely to see what's the other guy we talked about? I don't know if they'll put Dante Pettis in there because these guys are supposed to be practicing, in the second and third teams while they're at practice. So we'll see what they do. But yeah, they've had an opportunity to see if they can bring somebody in to kind of help out. Maybe it's a wide receiver that had some familiarity with what they were doing. But I promise you one thing, the Saints probably wish they had A.T. Perry there, don't they? That's another move what this idiot did before he got out of there. Got rid of A.T. Perry so Peyton can get him. Cartel Bo says, Q, what do you think about Ashton Genty, the running back out of? I think he's fantastic, bro. That's a fantastic running back. He said if he's there without pick, I know everybody wants a QB like Shador and Cam, but I feel like we get a QB next draft. It's early on, bro, and they got Elvin locked in, for a couple of years here. They got AK-41 locked in here. They got Kendra Miller. They're not just gonna throw those guys away. I like this kid. I like Genty. But man, they have other players. You got AK-41 and Kendra Miller there. So I don't know if the Saints look at running back right there. I think quarterback is the thing they look at. I don't know if even quarterback's there because it depends on who the guy is going to be. Because from a standpoint, you're going to have Carr there. But you've taken a quarterback for the last 2 drafts, right? Not high. You took one, in the 4th round, the other one in the 5th round. But usually when the coach comes in, does he keep, you might have another offensive coordinator. So you might have, that's what I'm saying. If the Saints don't make it to the playoffs, this is over with. All Dennis Allen's coaches, all his people that he picked is over with. That was the thing. If the Saints don't make the playoffs, Dennis Allen's already fired. So whatever plan he had is failed. So they have to kind of disassemble it a bit or rework it a bit where it's feasible, where they can get back to trying to win. So you're stuck with Carr, contractually speaking. Let's say the Saints don't make it, and everybody's gone, which means they'll have to turn around and hire a new coach. He gonna bring his own personnel in here. He gonna bring his own offensive coordinator, his own philosophy, which means that offensive coordinator gonna want his own coach. I mean, his own quarterback. So it'd be like 3 years of quarterback. So, is that guy the guy? And of course, remember, if you get a young quarterback, that kind of puts you to the back. But if you draft a quarterback high and then you have Carr there, the idea would be to use your veteran quarterback because contractually you're locked in with him, and then have the backup quarterback who's that high drafted quarterback to study behind him. But that's what I'm saying. It's a very tough situation for any of these quarterbacks to be in because the Saints didn't represent any stability, especially over the last couple of years. So, a lot of these guys falling through the flow. Yeah, Cam is interesting, man, from Miami. But like I said, it's going to be interesting. Yeah. All right. Any more questions? Let me see. Dwayne says, if Michael Thomas is healthy, Saints will basically self-sabotage yourself with not signing. I don't think Michael Thomas comes back here. I don't think, and it's just the whole Michael Thomas thing. Like, a lot of people don't like Michael Thomas. I don't have a problem with Michael Thomas. He speaks his mind, and he's not on there all the time blabbing away. It's only certain times where he feels like he needs to say something. And I will wish, like Michael Thomas, he doesn't like to go on the national press. Mike Thomas can't go up, Mike, man. Start looking. And I tell these players this all the time. Don't just sit up here and go to the mainstream outlets to get your word out. Start going to independent people and go and talk to them, because this is a big part of the game. If you got a message, talk to the independent people out there. Talk to the content creators. That's the diehards in the building. If it could be me, it can be the rest of. We got a bunch of people that are really good. So make it a point for some of these people. If you need a message, use the platforms that they provide to get your message out. Because when ESPN did the story about Michael Thomas venting his frustrations, they made it look like Michael Thomas was on some sour grape type shit. Like, he wasn't, like, what his claim wasn't valid by what he was saying about Derek Carr. And he was saying, listen, this is in part what kind of happened to him. He threw a ball to a place and put me in a bad situation while I got hurt. And he said that, and people are like, oh, Michael Thomas is a diva. And they played him like that. And a lot of the press, but not all of them, but some of them played Michael Thomas like that. And he don't go to no press and talk. Listen, bro, if you don't want to go to the press, go to the content creators and utilize their platforms. It don't have to be me. It can be anybody in our community, but go to them, use these. And I'm talking to all these players out here, because a lot of these big time press, these supposed big press people, they're not friends of you. Go to the diehards and use their platforms to get your message out. I don't get these guys, man. You're not supposed to be, in your mind, bigger than anybody. You utilize their platforms, because without them, a lot of these guys wouldn't be where they be. The diehards are the ones that carry the team. They're the ones that support the team with blood and guts and everything. We the life support system of these teams. These teams would not be in existence if it wasn't for us supporting them with taxpayer dollars and everything else. They wouldn't be here. So we don't need to have this mentality. Utilize their platforms to get your message out, because ESPN, they played you to the left, playboy. But you come on here, you come on other platforms, man, listen, just get the word out, man. That's all I care about. Get the damn word out. Because they be playing Michael Thomas, made it appear like Stephen A. Smith got up there and made it appear like Michael Thomas was all about sour grapes, like he didn't have a valid claim. And I thought that was wrong to do him that. Well, he didn't do anything and such and such. And somebody gonna punch the shit out of Stephen A. Smith. They're gonna knock the lining 3 more inches back to the back of his head. It's gonna look like, it should already looking like a retractable dome anyway. But it's just talking real sporty like that about somebody gonna get to him. Somebody gonna lay hands on him. And I ain't talking about in the church. They're gonna do something with him. And I've seen him do that boxing shit. He can't fight. All right, yeah. Digital Warrior says dome foam $15. Yeah, it's too much, man. That shit is overpriced, man. And enough is enough, man. We gotta shut all that down, fam. We gotta shut it down. We gotta shut it. Enough is enough. It's a whole new Fam, do y'all realize the paradigm has shifted? Do y'all realize that? The paradigm has shifted. We often talked about shifting and changing paradigms. Paradigm has shifted. It's not the same anymore. The paradigm is not the same no more. There's a new era of energy that is sweeping forward here. And this, what I'm saying is, it's an awareness of the people, because far too long, the so-called elite people were using technology and tricks and scams and all this type of stuff to sway your opinion. That's none of that's working anymore. These people are terrified now, because a lot of the people were making money and gain power off of the fact that you were mesmerized in a state of absolute. We were absolutely mesmerized and brainwashed. That's no longer the case. All that is falling away. They're absolutely terrified that they can't trick you or persuade you or, into doing stuff that they say is for your better good, but it's not. It's for their better good, to control you. That is falling away now. The universe, the Most High, has stripped away all of that. And now we're underneath a shift where people are like myself and you guys are understanding that you have power in your life to implement change, to be more responsible with your financial affairs, not support bad items or disrespectful situations, regardless of what they are. There's no more veil over your eyes. You're seeing the world as it is, and you've gained the courage to address it and deal with it as opposed to run from it. Your courage levels have gone through the roof. You've seen the worst. You've seen some very demonic things going on, and you're ready for the challenge. You're putting on your armor, and you're ready for whatever is coming forward. You're like, come on, I've seen some bad stuff. Now let's make it. Let's go through it. I'm ready to take it all on. And that's what's happening. That's that energy. So I just say it to you like this: embrace it. Allow it. Embrace your power as a person. Embrace it. Embrace it. And utilize it and walk with a collective of people that think the same way. I don't care what they look like or who they are. As long as they think. Family, in many cases, are people who think like you. Not necessarily blood. Blood is one thing, but like-minded people supposed to ride together. It's a collective. That's how we get things done. And people, man, all the lies, all of the BS is falling away, and people starting to see it exactly for what it is. And I love that. And I truly appreciate that. All right, so it is what it is, man. That's what I'm really big on. Mark says, soon we are not going to have any wide receivers if we keep Carr at the position. Dwayne says Mickey Gun Pop and Loomis, another reason why as hell. Don't forget Dennis Lauscher. Make sure y'all put Dennis Lauscher, the horrible law firm of Lauscher and Loomis. We got to keep them together. They joined it at the hip, fam. Don't forget Lauscher. He's the president. He's Mickey's boss. And Gail's his boss. So where was he at with all this going on? Not a people, nothing from him. Lauscher and Loomis, they go together. Gundam says, yeah, Loomis has become the tyrant. People, New Orleans won't stand for that type. And listen, that's what I talked about, that empowerment, brother Gundam. People are pinpointing Mickey Loomis as the problem. That's a part of the game that we talked about for a long time. Like, fam, Dennis Allen is a small fish. The big fish is Mickey Loomis. That's the problem. And when you hear how he talks, how smug he is, how he berates reporters, talk about people not being qualified. Gail don't even talk like that. But yet Lauscher, his boss, did not check him on that and say, hey, listen, bro, I'm at the yank you off of that, bro. If you don't talk to the people better, you too smug. Take your old ass over here to this training right here and get public relations training so you know how to talk to the public without using these Dollar Tree fake elite terminology and energies for being smug, and them people upset because of your lack of leadership. How could you be upset with them and you're failing? How's that work? That's like a child getting bad grades and then the parent punishing the child, taking the stuff away from them, and and all this. He won't go over here and there. No, you punished. You under your, you're disciplined. And him getting mad at you because you disciplined because he got bad grades. That don't make any sense at all. No. This is who we got going on here. Christopher says, Q, what about Jawan Johnson? Got to step up, bro. Jawan Johnson's got to step up, man. He really not. We expected stuff from Jawan Johnson. He has to get on this game, bro. We're going to need him. We're going to need Taysom. We got to get these guys involved. It's going to have to be a full-out affair. Jawan has to step up. Brother Charles says, is it time for Olave to start wearing the protection hat in games? I agree, bro. I think it should be. He needs to wear that from if they got something he could put inside the helmet, like extra padding inside of the helmet and the stuff on top of it, man, he need to wear that for the rest of his career. I don't care how it looks, as long as it keeps you from getting a concussion, extra padding, because they said they have these concussion proof helmets, which got all the extra padding in. They look a little big and bulky. But, you know, a lot of times the players got less protection on because, you know, they want to play faster. So you don't see the big shoulder pads. You don't see all of the knee guards and the stuff, the thigh pads and all that kind of stuff. Everything's shrunk because it's all about the speed, but they're getting hurt more. So at some point, they're going to have a philosophy change on a lot of that, right? It's crazy, man. KB says, yo, Q, what would Mickey say to Michael Thomas in that conversation? Oh, hold on now, KB. Hold on. Oh my God, it's early on. I've had my I'm a little in a clam chowder, really. I would tell Michael Thomas, hey, Mike, hold on, I ain't stop it. That's all I can say. You quit it. Don't do it. Don't talk about the team. Stop. Yeah, that's what Mickey ain't got nothing to say, bro. He just Mickey's under the ground right now, crazy. All right, Charles says, Q, will you try to? I'll reach out to him, brother. You know, my thing is, man, I don't. I'll try to reach out to him, brother. I'll try to get him on the show, man. The message is not just for my benefit. I'm trying to get these players to stop looking at what's called mainstream outlets and start using the communities that support them. That is their responsibility to give back to the community. Like, go use them. And I've been telling them that for some time now. It don't have to be me, but go talk to somebody, use their platforms, because these are really the true supporters of the organization. These other teams, they're just news agencies. They do this stuff all the time. Ain't nothing special about you going over there and talking to them. They got a ton of these people do it. Go where it makes sense to go. Go to these people, go to platforms and vet out your message, because these big platforms got Michael Thomas laid out like he a big crybaby. Yeah, we'll try to get with him. James says, Q, did you see Pope Francis? Yeah, I seen that, brother. That was very unique, man. He said that they said it was a mistake that he sent out there, but Gail Benson and Tom Benson used to go over there all the time, like once a year at least. They'll go over there, and I remember Tom Benson went over there. And I want to say he kissed the Pope's ring. I want to say he went over there, and they, big time Catholic people. That's the background, religious background of Gail and Tom Benson. They would take trips over there and meet with the Pope and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me, bro. Digital War said I used to sneak in the dome, a fifth to sip on. LOL. Yeah, you better not buy it in there. I don't think you can buy it in there. Richard says, great words, Q. The fact that Gail had to step in, it cannot be good for Loomis. No, and I said that. The report said that it was Gail's group. Did y'all catch that? Put one in the chat. If y'all seen that, right? Put one in the chat. Because it says Gail and her group. It was in the report, that said that Albert Breer did. I don't know if maybe I can pull it up here. Yeah, he said it was her. Who's Gail's group? That was the thing. Who's Gail's group? Who's Gail's group? So she might already have somebody in place, because it can't be Lausha. Lausha and Loomis are joined at the hip. So Gail and her group decided to do that, right? It's interesting, man, to be honest with you. We'll see how it all fares out, man. But at the end of the day, that's what I was saying. Don't be too fast to go give them the support yet. Don't go running down there. Let's still stay on code until we see them make changes at the top of the team. Until we see the changes, because that way, we'll see some change. Like I threw the concession prices in there, because come on, fam. If y'all ever been out to these Saints events, the concessions, man, they're out of control, man. I mean, golly, man, and it won't change unless people say, man, we're not paying for this high garbage anymore. Man, what are y'all doing? We pay for everything. Then we got to pay double and triple concession prices. Come on, man. What are we doing? That has to change, man. We got to stand on that, man. We got to stop that. I'm talking truth, man. Listen, they make all kind of money, fam. Them concession prices, I'm not saying that we get anything free. I'm willing to pay. but it has to be a good price. I'm not paying no $20 for no nachos. Where do you know where you gonna go around the city and spend $20 for some nachos? Man, it don't even take you $20 to buy the shit to make the nachos at your house. What they got? You know what I'm saying? You buy a bag of nacho chips and you got some cheese and you got some peppers and what else? That's not even $20 to buy all that. So the nachos is like $10 to make and it's $10 for the labor. Is that what's going on? Well, you see, here you go with you'll get you $20. Yeah. But it's $10 for the nachos and it's $10 for the labor. So you mean to tell me for you to take these nachos out of this thing right here, turn around and go over there, and then sometimes they just give you the nachos and then there's a cheese machine and you go put come on, put one in the chat on there. Did y'all ever went down there and they did that to you? Like some of them, sometime, I don't know if they changed it, but I remember when I would go down there, they would give you the nachos and put, whatever, and say, hey, yeah, there you go right there. Put the cheese in the hollows is right there. So you just give me this. They might heat it up or they might be under the heat lamp and they get to you and say, yeah, the cheese is over there. $20 and I got to put my own nacho cheese and peppers on? Hell with that, man. We chump city if we gonna keep riding with that. It's a different day, fam. We're not going for this anymore. It's time for all this to change, man. They've been benefiting too much off of us. That's why they in this. It's our fault we let them get away with this to feel smug. Mickey Loomis is a direct example of what we do when we don't irresponsibly support people that we shouldn't be supporting. We created this dribbling monster idiot, Mickey Loomis. We committed that. We created that Frankenstein creature. We did that by constantly supporting a bad product. Oh, well, I'm the man. Oh, let me tell you something. Hold on now. Stop the presses. You guys over here, man. I'm listening to you now. Let me tell you. I heard what you said. I heard what you said about power. That's very true. But guess what? I got all the power. God damn it. I said, Mickey, hold on now. I said, Gail, hold on. I'll get rid of him when I'm ready. Hold on, Mickey. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Gail told you to fire him and you fire him, did you? Oh, yeah, but I fired him, but that's when I got ready. Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you a question. When you fired him, was it after she told you to fire him? Well, of course. But I was ready. It's just the guy is crazy, man. Can't make sense out of it. T-Roy says, what do you think Mickey did with that list describing what a good coach did at this lobby? You know what? I was going to be petty and play that, but I'm saying, nah, I'm going to just let it go, man. I'm just glad the guy gone. Now we need to change it at the top, man. I don't. Yeah, that's right. Ty said Mickey ain't off for drinking wine. Oh, hold on now. I don't drink wine and gourmet orange juice. I don't. Michael says, plot twist, Diaz gone. Saints finish 10-7. Saints win the division. Saints win this. Oh man, would that be you know what, Michael? That'll be the greatest story. That'll be the greatest football story there ever was if that happens. The Saints fired Dennis Allen at 2-7. They lost to the worst team in the NFL, the Carolina Panthers at the time. Saints turn around after that and win. Get 10 and win. Well, basically what that'll be, they win everything. They win 8 games in a row. That means the Saints would win all the way out, win the division, go into the playoffs. That would be the greatest football story ever told if that was to happen. That would be you would win a Super Bowl with an interim coach and you fired your guy right in the middle of the season. That would be the greatest football story ever told if that was to happen. That would be the greatest football story ever told. I ain't lying to you. That would be awesome. Chris said, I went to the Tampa game and the Dome, and they still do that. Charles says, when I used to go to the Saints game, my grandmother always brought in chicken and drinks in her purse. Wasn't paying for no concessions. Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Digital Warrior says, all concession equals anonymous. It's working. KB says, man, they definitely have to get Mickey out of the GM role, and even Ireland. I can't find no trust in them with these draft picks, and they need to start going with these SEC and Big Ten schools more. Thank you. Red Swamp says, Q, Big Lord told me to bring out the brooms much. Yeah, I know, man. I told him, hey, man, yeah, I thought Lord was sweeping up feathers and shit. We about to smack all the feathers off him. I said, listen, brother, last time around I was getting emails from Atlanta Falcon people mad at the Saints last year for smacking them around, and they had so many feathers everywhere that they was using a vacuum. And I was like, nah, you don't get feathers up using a vacuum. You clog your vacuum. You just sweep it up and throw the shit in the trash, or basically take it, put on, sweep it up in a big pile and get you some stuff, some glue, and start making a feather duster so you can dust your fans and all that kind of stuff. You recycled them. You see what I'm saying? All right. Richard says, my main thing with Loomis is he did not have the capability to fire DA, and then he has no business to hire the next coach. Indeed, bro. Bird Talk, what's happening, fam? Says Olave is out for the season, just for 4 weeks, bro. Putting him on the IR means he'll be out at least 4 weeks, which should bring him back. If I'm going off memory, I think the Saints schedule. Well, you count this week, 4 weeks will place him after the Rams game. I want to say we come out of the bye week against the Rams. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, kids. So that'll put it. Let's see. Yeah. No. Hold on. Let me bring up the schedule here. That don't sound right. I don't think that's right. Let me pull up my schedule. Hold on. I think it's after the Rams game, I want to say. Yeah, because Atlanta, Cleveland, Rams, it'll be after the Giants game. So it'll be Washington. It'll be just in time for Jaden Daniels' Washington team on December the 15th. So yeah, that'll be when he's eligible to come back from at least 4 weeks will be for the Washington game, which will be middle December, which will be in the dome. So Jaden Daniels will be down here. So that's pretty much what it is. Gundam says this will be like Montgomery bus boycott. These people awoke a sleeping giant with the, oh yeah, I like that terminology there. Do you believe Darren Rizzi turned this team around? He said, do you believe Darren Rizzi turned this team around could be better? Yeah, I think it can. Definitely. I don't think it'll be worse. Dennis Allen had he lost the team. He been lost the team, and he had 2 early wins, but he couldn't sustain it. And once he got in the hole, I said the guy didn't have what it takes to get out of the hole. And it was what it is. But the thing about Darren Rizzi is that Darren Rizzi is an energy coach. He's not a stupid man either. Darren Rizzi know how to talk to people. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He talked to them, and that wasn't all Darren Rizzi. He said it as much in interviews. He went and talked to the players. He talked to the coaches. He knew exactly where to go on the defense to change the defense. He got Ty Grantham out of there. He knew what was going on. He got Grantham off the defensive line. He put Brian Young there, Brian Young should have been a defensive line coach. So he made changes on the defense, made changes on the special teams. Phil Galliano, who's a pretty good special teams coach, is there doing his thing. And he didn't touch the offense, which was kind of interesting. He's like, the offense is straight. And I don't know if I'm getting with him on that, but he can definitely do a better job, man. They just got to, start with Atlanta, man, and just week by week, that's the best they can do, English says, I understand Gail. She's a New Orleans girl. She may smile and go along for a while, but the whole time they know what's going on. Yeah, there's people, man. She said in the reports, like I said, she talked to they was inundated by calls, emails, people on the street. And she did her due diligence. She talked to Mickey Loomis. He told her something else. So she went and talked to the players. She talked to all of the calls they were getting, and she was like, put that guy in the street, man. Hell no. So she went over his head and did the job. That's why I say it's a breakage and trust like that. We can't forget that. She has her group. It's a breakage and trust of what she was dealing with Mickey Loomis. And the thing was, Loomis and Lauscher were taking advantage of Gail Benson, lying to her and deceiving her. And I think she realized that. That is huge. That is very huge. I pinpointed that on the flash report. I said, fam, listen, that is huge. It's a separation and trust now from Gail because they were relying on Mickey Loomis and Dennis Lauscher's judgment. And that's what was going on. And he actually didn't want to fire this guy, which confirms how stupid this guy is and why he shouldn't be your general manager. He's not involved. He doesn't talk to those players. You cannot, fam, listen. You go talk to any general manager, go listen to the interviews in the NFL and learn what a real general manager does. The general manager always is involved with the total daily operations of dealing with his team. His only job is to make sure the team is performing at a high level. If they need personnel, to oversee the head coach, make sure to coaching them straight. If they foundering, fumbling and bumbling, he goes in there and make demands. If the coach don't know what to do, he tells them what to do. That's not what Mickey Loomis does. Mickey Loomis didn't talk to those players unless he was berating them at the end of last season because they got away from Dennis Allen, and instead of firing Dennis Allen, he backed Dennis Allen, and that lost him respect. So it's more than just that. They didn't have respect for Dennis Allen, and they don't have respect for Mickey Loomis. So he was bullhorning Dennis Allen's philosophies and co-signing all of his actions. Like when he would take Rattler, who should have been a backup quarterback, period, because he won a job in training camp and in preseason. Carr, Dennis Allen would put Rattler as the emergency quarterback, take Jake Hayner and put him as the backup quarterback so that Derek Carr don't have to look over his shoulder because he knows that Spencer Rattler is very popular with the family base. He didn't want to have that pressure over Derek Carr's shoulder. And I told y'all that before it happened because I knew the guy was off code. He did little funky stuff like that you're not supposed to do. He violated the competition protocol. When you win the job, you're supposed to be there. And the guy who's ahead of you's got to deal with it. Unless you're Tom Brady. Unless you're Tom Brady. If you're Tom Brady, there's a clause where you got, that's an exception to every rule. Tom Brady's the exception because he forced Bill Belichick to trade Jimmy Garoppolo because Bill Belichick seen Garoppolo as the future. Tom Brady didn't want that to happen. He didn't want that guy there. So he forced Garoppolo out. That's how Garoppolo left New England. Tom Brady got him out of there. Bill Belichick really didn't want to do it too. And a lot of people believe that's what caused the fracture between their relationship when he forced them out of there because Belichick didn't want to do it. Belichick was the general manager and head coach. So that's not the case with Derek Carr. Derek Carr's a $150 million quarterback. He should be able not to be offended or nervous about a 5th round draft pick quarterback. But Dennis Allen did that. And then you seen it. And I told you all that before it happened. And then when Carr got hurt, they took Spencer, who was the emergency quarterback, the 3rd quarterback, and made him the starter. And people were like, how'd that work? Because that's how it was supposed to work. That's off code. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. No head coach is supposed to do that. If I'm on that team and I seen that happen, I would be upset by that. I would be very upset by that because that means if that happens to you, that can happen to anybody. You can play your ass off and beat that other guy. You mean to tell me you're going to play with me like that with politics just to protect that other guy? Man, come on, man. Come on, man. That guy should have been gone, man. Shit, he should have been gone. Zoe says, sup, Big Q, as a Falcons fan, hope it's at least a fun. Oh, it's going to be a fun game. Thank you for being here, bro. Shout out to you, man. It's going to be a fun game. All right. Mad Drummer says, so do you have the confidence in our wide receivers, Olave, Shaheed, and Memes? Shout out to you, Mad Drummer. Well, brother, I mean, the strength of the Saints offense is going to be the running attack. And we just need Scantling. Scantling's a decent wide receiver. I'd be a little bit more concerned if we didn't have Scantling. We had Equimia St. Brown and guys like that never really done anything. I would definitely be a little bit nervous, but Scantling is a guy that's got to step up, man. He's played a lot of games. He's been in situations and he's a veteran. He's going to have to contribute. This is his 3rd week here. He has to be able to, he got to know enough of the offense to be able to catch a pass. Him and Mason Tipton are going to have to step up. That's just the bottom line. But the Saints will play through the running attack and try to implement the pass action, hoping Scantling can make some plays upfield, him and Tipton. Tipton's really been struggling. Perhaps we can make that happen, man. So, yeah, Olave and Shaheed are, our 2 best guys. That's what it's about, squad. NFL, we love the NFL so much. Other guys got to step up, handle the business. All right, Christopher says, Q, does Darren have to keep chopping wood and watch the tape? Hopefully we don't hear the chopping wood analogy anymore. Hopefully. Hope we don't have to hear that no more, man, because I don't want to hear that. Or we got some shit to clean up. I got to hit the, well, actually, That's funny because I always hit the cleanup man button when that. So the cleanup man, that wouldn't be so bad because that's a perfect segue for me to hit the cleanup man song on him. You know what I'm saying? Gundam says, yep, there's a split in the chain of leadership. This will be interesting on how it will play out in the coming months. My brother Sean says that ought to make Gail distrust Mickey. It does, bro. There's a bit of distrust there for both those, Loomis and Lauscher. Those guys wasn't doing their jobs, man. They need to be demoted. Yeah, Digital said DA was playing poly. Yeah, there's no place for that. You just, bro, listen. Like the apologize. He never apologized. It's a facts. DA, listen, I wouldn't have a problem with him. I guess I still would have. It wouldn't be as bad if he used apologetic rhetoric to you. The man been here for almost 3 years. He had a lot of losses. Not one of his worst and most egregious loss was last week to the Carolina Panthers. Did he come out and say, I apologize to the Who Dat Nation? We need to come out. Listen, I'm so sorry. This team, I thought none of that. He never said none of that. He didn't think that you were worthy of an apology, but Atlanta was. He sat there and apologized to Arthur Smith while Arthur Smith cursing him in his face. That's true, man. Like, man, this dude ain't no man, dude. What man gonna let you, all the brothers in up in here, come on, guys. What guy, if you somebody walking up to you cussing, what you gonna do? He cussing at you, man. You grab both sides of his stomach. What kind of bullshit that is, man? Ain't nobody. Darren Rizzi handled the correct way. Rizzi walked up and was cussing at Arthur Smith. Dennis Allen apologizing to him and threw his own team under the bus, and dumb Mickey thought that he can come back for that. That's stupid. Stupid. That guy, that shows so much. Fam, do you not understand how much that shows as this guy's supposed to be a general manager? Do you understand how bad and poor of a judgment this guy doesn't even have the proper perspective that a general manager is supposed to have? There is no way, shape, if your dumb coach does that, he's supposed to be fired or berated in front of the team. That is not, he incentivized Dennis Allen's bad and off-code behaviors. He incentivized, even to this day, he's still saying he's a great head coach, in which he's not. That shows questionable judgment. That shows a bunch of stuff that pinpoints that this guy don't know the first thing about being a real general manager. He's simply that in title only. Nobody makes that kind of, okay, even if I give him a pass for hiring him, what's his excuse for still making excuses for him and some bitch is fired? What kind of message does that send to the team? And I would even say the players don't respect no Mickey Loomis, man. Why should they? He doesn't talk to them. He don't care about what's going on with them. He's not even attached to them. He comes out of his office and supports Dennis Allen. And them guys hate that guy. Well, except for Tyrann Mathieu. Tyrann Mathieu, he loves him. When Dennis Allen starts his rap group, he can hire Tyrann Mathieu to be his hype man. He can stand in front of him with a big ass clock on his face and his hat turned backwards and some colorful glasses and just yell all day, "Don't believe the hype." That's what he's the fun coach. Man, shut up, man. Talking about, man. But don't say nothing about all the off-coach shit that he doing and the fact that you falling through the floor. Who else gets it except for the head coach? But he the fun coach. He's a great coach. Man, get out of here, man. Don't talk to me about legacy with Dennis Allen. He just got fired and he ruining everything, man. Shut up, man. What you talking about, man? Crazy people, man. All right, all that soft shoeing shit, man. That don't fly here, man. Just tell the truth and keep it real, man. Rook says they should sign Terrence Marshall Jr. I know they worked him out when Shaheed got hurt. Thank you, Rook. Hoffa said, what's up, Hoffa? Said New Orleans Pelicans announced today that Fort Zion Williams has been diagnosed with a left hamstring strain. Medical imaging taken this morning confirmed the injury. Williamson will be out. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yeah, indefinitely. Yeah. Yeah, well, we kind of figured that. We talked about that 2 shows ago on the Pelican post-game report. They kept saying it was something they were giving out mixed signals on the injury. First, it was a left, then it was a right hamstring, and then it was a quad. Then Willie let it drop that it was a hamstring quad. So we were doing what we do here on the Sports Coma. We'll pull up the injury, break, the medical books and the sites, and we'll go into and match the information that they give us and determine the timeline on which injury ties to the information that they're giving us. That's we do that live, and we do it here too. It's like, hey man, listen, we figure that out, so we do that. You know what I'm saying? So man, listen, man, it's more of the same, brother, more of the same. But you do get Trey Murphy back soon, so yes, indeed. All right, Digital War says taste meal album tomorrow show now, and very true. Big Sean says, can Gail buy Mickey out of his steak? Hell yeah, Miguel got all the money, Sean. Cap said, what's up, Cap, man? It says, Big Q, so are you going to retire the cleanup man? No, hell nah, brother. I'm the A, bro, because you know they're going to say it. I'm never going to retire the cleanup, but man, it's just too damn fun. Now, I might have to retire the possum puss. That's probably retired because possum puss is gone. That was a funny thing. But the cleanup man, button ain't never going to get retired. But here it is now.
I'm a friend, but I'm the cleanup man.
He'll sweep your girlfriend off your feet. The reason I know so much about him is because he's moved up an old girl of mine.
Swept her right off her feet and into the jack.
Hey, that's why say, hey, bro, listen, man. Alpha, that's why Zion hurt right now. You seen him over there dancing around in that music video? That's why he hurt right now. He got hamstring issues and shit. He dancing on that video there. All right, Kim says, got here late. Did you recently discuss Kendra Miller controversy being placed on IR, and he was healthy, showing the weasel behavior of Dennis Allen, off-code behavior. People are learning the stuff, and we talked about this all the time, man. Like he was it was a way of him trying to punish Kendre Miller. And then it comes out, it shows that one of the changes, that's why I was playing, I did the article early on in the broadcast about Darren Rizzi's changes. I wanted the family, and shout out to John Hendricks. Jimi Hendrix is a damn guitar bag, but John Hendricks, shout out to that brother. Because he did a wonderful job of putting together an article that talked about all of the changes that Darren Rizzi was implementing as he took the interim head coach title. One of those was it's a ramp up period, for lack of better words. Like it's an activity period that players will do like prior to them actually getting into training, as opposed to you going through some stretches. It's also something they talked about, having longer stretcher periods. That's a part of the ramp up process where, they go in there and they get their work on, they lift weights, all this kind of stuff, and get, ready for activity. And a lot of people believe that will lead to less soft tissue and injuries that had hit the Saints. So Dennis Allen wasn't doing that. And I was like, damn, you mean to tell me that guy wasn't doing that? That's something that just makes all the sense in the world. That's something that your medical staff would kind of throw at, like, hey man, he wasn't doing that, so Coach Rizzi implemented that. So that should help. So didn't you turn around and be mad at Kendre Miller because he's having these hamstring issues? But guess what? He's not the only one having hamstring issues. If he was exclusively the only player that is suffering from hamstring issues, I can understand your frustration with him as a player because he's the only one. But there were other players that was having hamstring issues. Wasn't Nick Saldiveri had hamstring issues? What's your boy name who's hurt right now? Didn't he have hamstring issues? Cedric Wilson Jr. They had several. Kool-Aid McKinstry got hamstring issues. Hell, Laddie had them. Demario Davis had them. Who else? Y'all know they had a bunch of players that had hamstring stuff. Matter of fact, remember DeMario missed some time because of hamstring. So I mean, to punish him by putting him on the IR and he was healthy, man, that's just more Dennis Allen. And Mickey Loomis sitting up there letting it happen. Him and Dennis Lauscher. Both those guys need to be demoted. That is terrible. That's not even leadership. That's why I'm keeping that centered focus. When you talk about Mickey Loomis, please, all the diehards out there, don't talk about Mickey Loomis unless you add Dennis Lauscher with him. Do not talk about Mickey Loomis without adding Dennis Lauscher, because Dennis Lauscher is Mickey's boss. He didn't do shit. So put Loomis and Lauscher out there together. They're jointed at the hip. They both need to be demoted out of their positions because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So I'm saying Lauscher and Loomis needs to be mentioned together. Mickey has a boss. His boss is Dennis Lauscher. He's the president of football operations. Then there's Gail on top of that. So Gail, Dennis Lauscher, Mickey Loomis again, because he's VP and GM. Then it gets to the lesser people like Kai and all these other guys. But don't leave out Dennis Lauscher. He's a big funky problem too. He's a part of this whole thing too. So yeah, absolutely. That's my thought on it, Kim. Shout out to you. It's just more off-code behavior by Dennis Allen. That's why he's been supposed to be fired. The guy was a bum. He was a moron, an off-code piece of garbage. And that's what it is. I don't respect nobody that operates like that. That's an off-code piece of garbage, man. You don't do that to players. You don't put them on the IR and they healthy. You don't lie and say that they're hurt and that you need to cut them so you can put them on the practice squad, which is what he did. A.T. Perry. A.T. Perry said, I wasn't hurt. I wasn't hurt. And then it was just off-code trash, man. And he sat up there and did that like breathing. That dude, that's a weasel. That you don't want that dude nowhere around any leadership position, because you can't operate with a person that act like that. That dude's a backstabby weasel. That's why he has the face of a possum. His spiritual animal is a possum. You can look at him all in his face and see nothing but a goddamn possum. Now, like, this dude's a weasel. And his behaviors were really disagreeable, weaselly, and really just off code. The whole thing was bad. D says, what's going on, Q? The Aints are in good for a good fight, because then the Falcons walking into that Superdome, taking over Superdome. So go Falcons. We run the South. Shout out to brother D Sloan. But okay, brother, we'll see how it happens tomorrow, brother. Y'all dancing really good, bro. But we all know, brother, I don't want to, I don't want to kind of steal none of your joy, brother. But you just what we needed, man. You're just what we needed. The Saints are going to get up to play the Falcons. They got a new coach, a new system. Guys are feeling better. This ain't the same team they was last week. Like, the energy was down, all that other garbage. But the Falcons are just what the Saints need. It's a home game. It's a dire game. They got to break the losing. They've been losing 7 straight games. I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints beat y'all. It ain't gonna be no blowout. But don't be surprised if the Saints win. And when that happens, D, listen to this. Y'all going to be questioning are y'all really as good as who y'all are? We let the Saints beat us. They only had 2 wins. And the Saints beat us, man. Are we really a good 6-3, 6-4 club? And then you're going to start seeing a collapse happening, because it always happens. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta's known for epic football collapses. And I'm not throwing any bad energy on you, my brother. I'm just speaking that you're just what the Saints need. And I picked the Saints to beat you guys, because I'm saying, I think that they found somebody losing to Carolina, and new coach, new change up. They changed up a bunch of stuff. Will it be enough? I think it'll be enough to beat the Falcons. I'm just saying, man, I done seen some stuff. Epic collapse time. It's EC time for the Falcons. It's always, it happens at every year, and the poor Falcon people know it, man. They be like, yeah, we feeling good, and then all of a sudden, epic collapse time. It happens every year. Epic collapse time. Epic collapse time. All right. Shout out to you, Sloan. Appreciate you, man. Big Sean says, Q, I said weeks ago that I won't watch any more Saints games to Diaz fire. So as I stated, I'll now resume watching. Who that to you? Shout out to you, Sean. Big ups, bro. Cap says, I'm going to finish the analytics part of coaching with Peyton. He was always trying to improve the team in any aspect, even if it was adjusting cleats to mouthpieces, etc. Dude was a wizard. Look, he's doing a good job with Denver too, right? And Denver was losing for a while. Coach Payton went in there and turned him around. Payton even did something that he never did with the Saints. He drafted a quarterback, right? A rookie quarterback, and has successfully implemented him into his offense. Bo Nix. That Payton never done that before. Everything was always about free agent quarterbacks with shorter learning curves. He went and took a rookie and implemented it. That's one thing Sean Payton, out of all of the stuff he ever did, he never did that before, but he doing it now. He done woke up out there with Denver. Gundam says, he says, you trust the staff with the upcoming draft? No, I do not, bro. I don't even know who the staff is. Like, we don't know if they don't get to the playoffs, they're going to fire. All these guys are done. You got a total new team coming in. You're going to have new leadership to hire them. It's just so much. It's hard to forecast ahead because you don't know who the coach is going to be. You don't know, they're going to be a change at the top of the organization, and you don't know what the philosophy is going to be. So, it's very difficult, very cloudy right now to kind of pick up what the draft is looking like. But if you force me to, I would more than likely say that the Saints must improve the lines. I would start right there. That's always a good bet to go right to. Like, you got to improve these lines. The offensive line, defensive line need to be improved. No doubt about it. Our offensive line needs a better guard than Lucas Patrick. He's a reserved offensive lineman. Lucas Patrick should not be starting for you. Absolutely not. And they're not going to be able to afford a veteran in free agency, so they're going to have to operate through the draft, which means bringing a young guy in there and getting some veterans to back up that line. That's another thing, and improving the defensive line. Like, that defensive line needs some help. Like, who, do you stay with Chase Young? Who is Isaiah Foskey? Peyton Turner's gone. Do you finally put Brian Bursey in the starting line? I've been advocating for this for the last several weeks. Starting Brian Bursey and next to Colin Saunders and moving Nate Shepard in the reserve role. I've been advocating for that for a while. Hopefully they'll start it this game. He needs to start, man. He's a first round draft pick. He needs to start. So yeah, I don't trust him, bro. But if you force me to make a selection in the draft, I would say they have to work them lines, get them lines together. Yeah, Digital says, not a football guy. Lauscher started his career as a CPA. Lauscher worked for a major global financial services firm before his decades-long career with this. Yeah, that's all in his bio, bro. That's on the website. You go there, he'll tell you a treasurer. He's a money man. He's not no football. The guy is missed. He's labeled. Well, that's the wrong job. He should not be the president of football operations, and he don't know nothing about football on the field. That job is reserved to like a John Lynch is what that job is to the 49ers. Like, John Lynch is the president of football operations. That's the president of football operations. Lauscher should be termed something else, like the top business fellow or whatever the crap is. I don't know. Whatever he doesn't need to be the president of football operations. He doesn't know enough. Like I said, the San Francisco version of that is John Lynch. That's who you need, like a John Lynch type player, a person that excelled on the field at a high level, and he went through the executive program, and he's ready to be a president of a football, something like that. That's who you need at that position. That guy, and that Lauscher dude is not it. Get his ass off of that job. Yeah, that's on his bio. Red Swan, what's up, fam? Says the Saints ain't beating us. We sweeping. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, I got you, brother. He also says, I hear you, brother. It sounds like to me you guys are hoping that the Falcons will fail. No, we ain't hoping that you fail. We just know you will. It's just, listen, bro. We're not hoping that, because that's not the kind of energy. Because if we hope for people to fail, then what end up happening is you'll get what you're putting out there. You see? That's how the universe works. See, we understand how the universe works. We try not to stand in the way of its direct impact by doing something we ain't supposed to be doing. So no, we're not hoping for failure. We just know from a historical standpoint, time and time again, that it has showed us and some people believe that history is a good indicator of future events, right? But a lot of people believe after going over so much, just over the last 10 years of your guys' existence, you've had a repeat of cycles of issues that happen, which leads to collapses. That's all I'm pinpointing. I'm not wishing you guys to fail at all. I actually wish you guys to be strong and to go and handle your business, because that'll make a good game. But when I say what I'm saying, I'm speaking from the reference of just at least in the last decade of Atlanta Falcon football. You guys haven't been in the playoffs in 6 years. You've had some of the really crazy, epic failures in a very long time, right? You know, you had some of the stuff that happened. I don't want to bring it to you because I don't want to traumatize you, but you know your history. And all I'm saying is I'm speaking to your history. That's all I'm saying, my brother. So, you know, shout out to you. And you know damn well y'all done had some failures. Admit to it. Every year you have some type of weird collapse. And it's very strange. And I don't know if that's totally out of the psyche of the Atlanta Falcon people yet. And that's a part of it. You know, you know, that's all I'm saying. I'm not wishing you. I hope you nothing but success, my friend. But I'm talking history. You guys know y'all tend to kind of drop the ball. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Falcons equals choke. Yeah, that's right. What's up, Pammy? She said Falcons going to Falcon. That's right. There you go. Brother Gundam says stop drinking that bootleg Georgia peach wine. That stuff is bad for fake motivation. Trust me, my bird friend Saints will tap that. That's a good one. Oh man, yeah. Red Swarm, no disrespect, bro, but y'all know y'all history, brother. And I've been listen, for the last couple of days, I've been warning y'all not taking these warnings to heart. You need to be concerned. The Saints have not won a game in 7 weeks. They fired a bum coach that was suppressing the energy. He was not a leader. He's a dummy. They got that guy out of here. You got a coach that's a motivator. He's the exact energy polar opposite of this moron coach we had here. And he has made a lot of really positive changes to the team. There is a sense of freedom, so to speak, with the Saints right now. The paces are different. Guys' energy levels are a lot higher. And after 7 game losing streak, the Saints are ready for a win. And the fact that you guys are the hated rivals of the Saints, and the fact that the Saints basically donated a game to you early in the year, right? We should have won that game. Saints gave the game away to you guys. Y'all took it. Credit to y'all on that. But they're ready to break this slide. You are a hated rival. It's in the dome, and they won't lay down to a sweeping. They won't lay down to a sweeping. I'm saying they got more to play for than you do. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know, and listen, fam, I'm giving you gold here. I'm giving you, this is facts. This is game right here. I'm giving y'all game. My Atlanta faithful family members, listen to what I'm telling y'all, man. I know I'm a black and gold guy and I kind of poke at y'all, but listen, I'm giving you game. I'm telling you truth. Listen to the words. I'm going to tell you again why the Saints are going to challenge you guys and going to win. They haven't won a game in 7 weeks. They fired a bootleg garbage possum-faced loser who was suppressing the energy and practicing off-code behaviors on the team. He's gone. The team reformatted with an interim coach with the exact opposite passion level. That other guy had no passion. The guy's motivated. He got a lot of passion. He went and took and changed a lot of things with this team. A lot of their practices feel different. They look different. The guys are happier and they're ready to win. You beat the Saints early in the year, and the Saints really should have won that game. Y'all know that. They let that game get out of their grasp. They're ready to win again. They will not allow you to sweep them in the dome. They're down here in the Superdome. They won't allow you to sweep them. Because meaning that basically turns over to the Atlanta. So they got a lot more to play for than you do. They're sitting in the cellar. You guys are in the penthouse. Y'all are right now looking at the view, enjoying yourselves up there. Like, look where we are. We at the top of the NFC South. Ooh, yeah. Saints in the cellar, down there with the funk and the mildew and everything like that. They have more to play for than you do. I caution you, when those situation environments line up like that, you better watch your ass, Mr. Postman. Just saying, fam. That's game. I'm telling you, they ready to win. And they're not going to lay down to a sweeping. They got a lot. Their season is on the line. They have a lot more to play for than you do. And y'all are making a mistake of believing that this team that you're going to face in week number 10 is the same team that was last week. It's not the case. Trust me, it isn't. It is not the same team. That's where you're going to have problems with. So, hey, that's game. I done gave you the game now. And I really didn't throw any Falcon commentary. I didn't say we're going to smack your feathers off and you got to pick them up with the broom and not with the dustpan. And I mean, with the vacuum cleaner so your stuff don't get stuck up. I ain't say all of that. I'd left that alone. I'm showing you respect. All right. All right. Swamp says, Q, our team rebuild being this year. We traded Matt Ryan, released Tudio. We have young talent, the best QB in NFC South. You are about to start your rebuild by trading Lattimore. It's not a rebuild just yet. They haven't really committed. Listen, they traded Laddie Daddy. Yes. To add picks to the draft for next year. But that was not, if they would have traded Chase Young, they would have made several other trades. I would say, yeah, they're in the rebuild. That was to accrue picks. That's just that's a pump fake, because the Saints, realistically speaking, you don't listen to these. See, fam, listen, let me tell y'all something. A lot of these talking head people that be on these larger platforms and the CBSs and all these people, man, them people, listen, man, they have half the truth or 60% of the truth. The reality is the Saints traded Lattimore, yes, the accrued draft picks, but that to me is a pump fake, because the Saints are still attached to older player contracts that they can't trade. They can trade them, but they're not going to get proper value for what they're looking for. They might as well keep the player. They're locked into a money timeline with contracts. So the rebuild is not as simple as saying, hey, next year we're just going to rebuild. No, you can't do that, because number one, you don't have the money to replace the talent that you would lose if you put those guys in the street. So they're not telling people that. That's why you go to the diehards if you want to know the real truth about the Saints. Most of these guys, these other people, they try to watch all these other people's team. You can't watch everybody's team. You can't do it. You can't watch everybody's team. You go to the diehards, they know their team better than anything. That's a pump fake. Trading Lattimore, yeah, they accrue several draft picks. They get the pick back for what's his name, Ridgeway Jr. They get the 2 and 3. What was it, the 3 and 4 for Laddie Daddy? Stuff like that. But it's a pump fake. The Saints still have Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis, Taysom Hill. They still got Carr. They still got these contracts here. So a rebuild is not going to happen right away. The Saints are still penciled in on the timeline to win right now. To justify the money, they have to be able to win right now, because to go into a rebuild, number one, you got to have resources to build. You got draft capital, but you don't have the money. You don't have money right now to rebuild. You got to have resources and the money to be able to move around. The Saints accrued picks, yes, indeed, but they still don't have the money to fund a rebuild. Where it's going to come from? Well, Q, we got to rework the contracts of all of these players to create more money, which would then rework money from what they're going to do in 25 kicks into 26, which you got like a plus in 2026. But that going to go down to minus when they kick into because they got to climb down with all that money. Now the cap might be $25 million or $30 million. That might roughly make them 30 something. I mean, but they still got to work back $30 million. And that surplus money goes into next year. They got to kick the can into 2026. That drives it down. That's why I said it's a 3-year rebuild, financially speaking. But you can't get into a rebuild without money. You got to have money to fund a rebuild. Draft picks is one thing. They're accruing the draft picks because they're going to use the picks to fund to build the team going forward. They're going to try to use the picks to address needs of the team, like offensive line, defensive line, stuff, wide receiver, stuff like that. But they can't monetarily do that right now. So that's what I'm saying. It's a pump fake in many regards. They got to use the picks to put cheaper players on the team because they don't have the money next year to go after the larger names that'll be available free agent wise. Am I making sense here? Put one in the chat if y'all understand what I'm saying here. If I'm making sense, am I making sense to y'all? Put one in the chat. That's what I'm saying. Because people talk about rebuild. Fam, we can't rebuild if you don't have no money, fam. The only way you can get to where you're going to get is you got to wait for these contracts to fall out. That's a 2-year window. When the contracts fall out, then you're going to see money skyrocket to like $200 million because all of these players will be going. You have basically a new team. That's why they fixated in for 2 years to try to get as much as they can get out of this team because they're stuck to these contracts. That's what's going on here. So, that's a little game inside, man. But that's what I'm saying. It's not, they're still competing. That's why I'm warning you. That's the best I can do, fam. I'm just letting y'all know. Now, if y'all win the game, more power to you, man. That y'all deserve it. Congratulations. But I'm just saying, don't play the Saints to the left. We gonna, don't play them to the left just yet. This is still the NFL. Anybody can lose any given Sunday. Ain't that what they say? All right. No Cap says, hereby declare November 4th as National Saints Day. Nashville Saints fans holiday up there with 28th March 28th, thanks to Tom Brady. And ironically, November the 4th, thanks to Bryce, both in division. Felt like playoff win. Happy November the 4th. All right. Shout out to you, No Cap. All right. Yeah. He says, Swarm is in denial. You can't win with the current team that you, okay. See, y'all, that's the problem with y'all Falcon people. We try to I gave you logic, bro. You should never think like that. You got to understand this is the NFL and your team could come down here and not play their best ball. They can come down here, get turnovers. They can lose the game. Your team is not that good where you should be like, oh, we're the best team since. I mean, you're not the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all Chiefs are undefeated. They're playing at another level. You guys are 6-4. Yeah, you guys are 6-3. I'm sorry, 6-3. You guys are 6-3, but I ain't trying to disrespect, and I know y'all undefeated on the road, but I'm saying any given Sunday, anything can happen. You should play with that mentality. Like, man, yeah, you know what? That's true. My team could end up losing. I mean, yeah, you, bro. Y'all can't win with this team, and then I won't even see Red Swan won't even be on the show after. Red Swan when the Saints beat when they smack all the feathers off Atlanta, Red Swan ain't even gonna pop up on the street. He gonna pop up on Wednesday. He gonna think I forgot. He gonna pop his ass up here on Wednesday, several days after the Saints knock him out on Sunday. He gonna prop up on Wednesday. Yeah, Q, shout out to you. I was like, oh, hey, Red Swarm, how you doing, man? Hey, what's up, Red Swarm? How you doing, brother? All right, yeah, it's a good game, wasn't it, Q? Yeah, I remember what the hell you said. See, I'm petty. Yeah, I'm petty. I'm gonna call your ass out, man. See, this will stop a lot of that shit. All that shit talking. That'll stop a lot of that shit, fam. It'll stop a lot of that shit they talk, all that shit talking they do. You gotta call their asses out, man. You go pop up here on Wednesday. Hey, Q, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, Swarm? How you doing, sir? Yeah, I just want to give y'all a shout out. We'll take that. He ain't gonna even pop up here on Sunday, fam. He ain't gonna do it. He ain't gonna. I'm just messing. Swarm will pop up. I'm just playing with you, Swarm. You always around here, brother. Shout out to you, man. All right. Ty says, so how can the Saints get out of the cap hell they're in? They got to let it's the only one way out, my friend. And it's a very interesting situation because the Saints contracts, and that, like I've mentioned it all the time, the contracts that are like, they're players, like these are older players, which means, and I had this conversation with DC. DC's like, yeah, you can trade him. Like, you're not going to get fair value for the guy, though. And no need to trade somebody you're not going to get value for. And he would serve better here than if you was to get a 6 or 7 round draft, but that really don't help you. Plus, to a degree, you got the dead cap money that comes with such a move. because that happens to deter teams from trying to trade established veterans or stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? That acts as a deterrent for the team to want to facilitate a trade, because these older veterans feel comfortable and they really don't want to go nowhere. So yeah, that's a part of it that we miss when we talk about this. Like, yeah, I'll do this, but this means that this will hit at this, which means we don't want to absorb that. And the Saints can't really try to, like, do a move like that, get hit with that dead money, that cap hit, and then expect to want to be players in free agency. Man, listen, man, it just, the only way out of this situation, to be bluntly, is they have to let the contracts expire. They got to play out the 2-year window. When that happened, 3 years from now, it balloons to like $200-something million, because you basically have a new team. All the veterans are gone. Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu. That's where the bulk of Carr, that's where all the money is with those players. The big money is penciled in with them players right there. And during that time frame, you got to remember, also guys like Paulson Adebo's contracts are coming due. Chris Olave's contract is coming due. In a year or so, you're going to have Rashid Shaheed's money coming due, because Rashid did a thing. So after that, after his extension ends, and that's real soon, you're going to have his money coming due. You see what I'm saying? You got Elvin for a little longer. But what I'm saying is, when that 2-year window expires, you're going to basically have a brand new team here. You're going to have a new team. All these old guys going to be retired. They're going to be gone. You still have some bad money on your books, but it won't be nearly as what you see it is right now. That's why they did this. It pencils you in, it traps you into a timeline with these older players. So the only way through it is to play out the contracts and allow it to expire. That's how you get cap relief. It's not my plan, bro. It's not my plan. I'm just explaining it to you with how it is. And like I said, I've showed it all the time. I've constantly do that. I get up here and I put over the cap up here and I explain it to the family members. Show them. I say, fam, this is what you got going on. Watch. Well, let me show it to you. I always do this. The time. Let me explain to you using over the cap. 2025 numbers have you roughly under $4 million, right? You go into 2025 next year. Look where you're at. You're $62+ million in the red. You're the wrong way. Let's say the NFL cap is $25 million. They raise it up, right? Or 30 million. Let's just be, that drops it to 32 million plus that you'll be in the red for if it goes up. So they're betting on the cap to go up to absorb some of this hit. But let's say if it's 30 million, it goes up with next year, the cap goes up to. This year, next year it'll be like 60, it'll be like $32 million that you'll get. You still have to rework that money, because you got to sign players. You're free agents if you're going to sign them. Or you're trying to participate in free agency, you got to sign your draft picks. So a lot of that ties into it. And then you got 30, whatever it is. But regardless of what the case may be, whatever you don't, whatever the NFL absorbs here and whatever you have left, you still got to kick whatever this number is going to be into 2026, right? Because you got to rework it. It's $52 million in the black, and this is 2026 numbers. Right? This is a rough estimate. Over the cap is usually pretty accurate. So money from 2025 flows into money from 2026. And then you don't really get out of everything until 27. As you can look at the number, it goes up to over $200 million, because all of these guys are gone. Cam is gone. Derek Carr is a lot of that could fall off. He's done in a couple years. You got Ramczyk and all these other guys, Taysom Hill, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu. All those numbers fall off the books. And you have basically a brand new team where you got to sign quarterbacks. It's a whole new team. So the team you used to seeing right now battle, gone. Era over with. And you got a brand new Saints team that year. Brand new team. So that's what I be trying. That's what I be trying to explain to family members and tell them, hey man, listen, you got to play it out. It's just what it is. All right. Shout out to Red Storm. Say much love, all y'all. I love the spirit that you put out, Big Q. Always a positive message to the people. So we know our worth and value, man. I am always going to support your efforts. You're a good brother. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. We'll get a round of applause for that, man. Thank you, sir. See, man, black and gold and red and black family members have love and respect for each other, man. And that's how it's supposed to be, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. You know, hey, man, ain't that something, man? Black and gold and red and gold, black and gold and red and black family members getting along, enjoying their teams, man. Always a good thing, man. Thank you. All right. So yeah, man, we got a lot going on, man. We got a lot going on. We got a lot. What's up, KK? Shout out to KK. Mickey Mouse been stealing since Poppy passed. Mouse going to jail. Got a mouse in the house. Mouse in the house. All right. Yeah. All right. Milton says, hey, man. He says, so are you Swarm? Good, man. I'd be your bro every day except for 2 days. Right. James said, was Sean Payton's fault to hire Dennis Allen? No, Sean, no. It's Mickey Loomis' fault for hiring Dennis Allen, bro. You mean when Sean Payton made him the defensive coordinator, he had no real power. He was just a coordinator. But as a general manager, Mickey Loomis, and I've been saying this, it's becoming quite the surprise to people to realize that Mickey Loomis is not a real general manager. Fam, haven't I not been saying that? I've been saying that, man. I'm about to get ready to close the stream down, but I've been saying that, fam. I've really been saying, I was like, fam, Mickey Loomis is not a real general manager. I've been saying that. I'm like, and it comes as a shock because people are like, what? What do you mean, Q? He ain't no, like, fam, he's not. He doesn't do what a regular general manager does. He doesn't. He doesn't do any of that. He doesn't do NC. Remember, let me test the faithful on this one. What did Mickey Loomis say about in-season evaluations? We covered this. I played this interview on the show over and over again. Remember we did it? And I made a point to throw this out there. Do you guys remember what Mickey Loomis said about in-season evaluations? Please put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, fam. Let me see if y'all remember. All right, Kim says, just to thank you for all you do. I stopped listening to Dennis Allen interviews 2 years ago and relied on your analysis of them. His voice started sounding like the parents of a Peanuts cartoon. Yeah, wah, 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 wah. Yes, I got you. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. Thank you. Too kind. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate you. All right. Yeah. So yeah. What did he say? Come on, who that's? Right. There you go. Thank you, English. Shout out to you, fam. All right, PM. Yes, PM, you're right. He says, bro, his emotions. He says, yeah, Kim says he gets too emotional. He says, yeah, he says that too, to look past the results. But no, I'm talking about what Kevin is saying, too emotional, and what PM is saying. Mickey Loomis says he out of his own mouth, his mouth. Hold on now. Hold on. Now, he said out of his own mouth that he doesn't do in-season evaluations because he gets too emotional. If we win, I get too emotional. If I lose, I get too emotional. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat. He said that out of his own mouth. That's a big part of your job as a general manager, is to do week to week, if not daily, evaluations on your team. The man doesn't even do that. He gets fleeced by general managers when he tries to do trades. It's a lot of stuff, man. People, remember, the GM's boss is the VP's boss. So he's his own boss when it comes to the GM position. He does not do the GM role. That's why I was saying he needs to be stripped away a bit, because he's using it as a way to make more money, to provide more job support, while choking out having young general managers like a Fontenot or a Kai Hartley to climb up into the ranks. Why does he need to have two jobs? Why does he need to have the VP and GM job? Who the hell is he? Why should he have two jobs? Why? That's the question I was answering. And plus, another egregious offense that Mickey had, besides hiring Dennis Allen and refusing to fire him until Gail told him to do it, was the fact that when they pulled that Sean Payton trade off, Y'all remember this. And I was saying it the whole time, like when they pulled off the Sean Payton trade to send him to Denver, all Denver wanted was Sean Payton. They was not requesting draft picks for Payton. The Saints wanted to get draft picks. Denver was not requesting picks. Mickey Loomis sent Sean Payton to Denver and sent him with a 3rd round draft pick. And I was like, why did we send that pick? Mickey Loomis sent that draft pick out there with Sean Payton so he can use that pick to build his team up. He gave a 3rd round pick along with Sean Payton because if y'all remember, when Sean Payton took the Denver job, Denver traded to get Russell Wilson from Seattle, and they gave up a boatload of picks to get him. They didn't have a 1, they didn't have a 2, they didn't have a 3, I think it was. And his picks would pick up from like the 4th and all this kind of stuff. So Loomis sent that pick out there with Sean Payton so he can draft. And I was upset by that. Nobody covered that. Nobody talked about that. I was like, why the hell did this Mickey Loomis moron send that draft pick out there? We needed that pick. And now we traded Lattimore to get a 3rd and a 4th pick. We needed that pick at the time to build up the assets around this team because you knew you was going to be hamstrung with the money. I was upset. I was like, man, look what this idiot is doing. He's hurting the team by just trading draft capital. You know, he did a lot of weird stuff like that. Like it's just insane. But I'm so happy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm happy about the fact that people are starting to see who he really is. They're starting to see the problems with Dennis Lauscher and Mickey Loomis. Both of them go together. Don't forget, fam, it's Lauscher and Loomis. I've been saying that. I've been saying Mickey Loomis is a fraud. I've been exposing Mickey, saying he's not a real general manager. That's why he's always up on this fake bravado, big chest energy, where he's smug and talking down to people, because that's a front to expose. You know, that's a front to make it look like he knows something. That dude don't know nothing about no general manager position. Sean Payton was the one making these calls and telling him what to get and what to do, and that's obvious because you see he wasn't shit under Dennis Allen. Without that leadership, he ain't shit. He couldn't even go in there and tell Dennis Allen what to do. When the man was saying, "Hold on, Mickey, you're killing the city, Mickey. It was 3rd and 1 and they tried to pass." Y'all remember that? Mickey Loomis sitting up, he didn't do nothing. The man was telling him to go. He don't know what to do. That's why he didn't do nothing. He don't know what to do. What are you gonna do? Go tell Dennis Allen, "Well, you gotta play better. Oh, God damn it, you gotta coach better." What do you mean, Mickey? What I gotta do? Look at it. It's not my goddamn job. My goddamn job is to tell you to do a better job. Damn it. These goddamn guys are right back. Yeah. I was in the store the other day and some bitch kicked my basket over. I had eggs and bacon and milk in there, and then it's all over the floor. I had to pay for it. Guy ran out of the store. I don't know who he was. He was crazy. He kicked my basket. The 3rd time that's happened this month. I can't even go in. I gotta send there. I gotta get Uber. I gotta get an Uber driver there. I got to order from Walmart now. You know, listen, tell you something, man. Some bitch kicked my basket over. That's the 3rd time this month. That's crazy. These people are crazy. You don't know what to do. What are you going to tell Dennis Allen? Coach better? What you mean, Mickey? What you mean, coach better? Oh, I don't know. God damn it, do it. Oh, I know. Yeah. He's an idiot. You don't know what to do. That's why I do the Mickey Loomis voice. I do, Pete, fam. Nobody cared about that. I do that because that's strategic. I've made basically a cartoon character and it out of this guy because he's a flipping moron. Oh, I know. I'm not no cartoon man. I did this, man. Nobody was talking about it. Now everybody enjoys this. Even the Carolina and the Atlanta people, Tampa Bay, they all enjoy it, man. Most of them didn't know who the hell he was. Yeah, most people don't know who the general manager of other teams are. They don't give a damn, right? You know, why should I care about who the guy is? But they know who Mickey Loomis is. Yeah, they know who he is because I was throwing that out. Yes, indeed. You damn right. Yeah, I'll take credit for Loomis. Hell, man, well, all that big chest energy for, man. You need to cut that out, man. All that braggadocious bullshit you talking about. Berating reporters. Well, listen now.
Yeah, well, see, that's just irresponsible reporting. You're not qualified to talk about Dennis Allen. Well, that's just, it's just
What he did when he threw his,
I heard some of the same noise.
remember he threw his hands up like that?
Oh, that's all right.
You ain't talking that big chest energy right now, huh? That dude didn't need much one. When they fired that guy didn't need much one. Go to the reporter. And I keep telling y'all this. He went instead of, remember, it was Bobby Hebert asking him questions. He stopped. No, I'm telling y'all how off code and braggadocious this idiot is. He left Bobby Hebert alone and started using Mike Hoss. Now, Mike Hoss is paid by, he's a New Orleans Saints reporter. You can't get any softer than that. These guys are not going to ask any hardball questions. They're not going to challenge him. He went with the team's reporter. Hoss is the announcer on radio. He went with their own reporter as opposed to going with Bobby Hebert with WWL. He's supposed to be on there every week doing the show. Y'all notice the last 2 times he went to Hoss, let Hoss do it. He doesn't want any hardcore questions coming at him about the state of the Saints. What's going on with them? He don't want nothing about it. Notice this is all factual stuff that I'm giving y'all, because this is a moron, chump, simpleton who's been exposed. He can't deal in the firing line of tough questions. What kind of man runs from questions? He running a team into the ground. You can't answer your questions about what you did. But berates the reporters. He won't berate me. That's why I make a joke out of him, because he's a joke. That's right. He's a joke. He's a flipping joke. Him and that Dennis Lauscher cat. They're both jokes. And Gail knows it now. And you guys are responsible. That's right. All you goddamn guys. All of you. You got more power. You think you got more power than me? Oh, God damn it. I'll tell you one thing. Hold on now. Yeah, we got more power than you. That's right. And we flexing on you. That's right. We flexing on you. And we're going to continue to flex on you until you get your ass off that GM spot. All right. So yeah, that's what it is, man. Yeah, you're lazy and unsophisticated. These are the type of words the Dollar Tree elitist Mickey Loomis used to talk about the Who Dat Nation and the reporters. I'm not making none of this up. All of this stuff I say he says. Except for the kicking of Carr over. Of course, I kind of embellished that a little bit, but the lazy and unsophisticated, you're not qualified. It's just noisy noise or negative noise, calling the faithfuls concerns about the failures of the team negative noise. The fact that he don't do in-season back. This dude is a clown. He's not a real general manager. All of that. That's all of that stuff he said. And it's a lot more than that. The family members can point you out and give you the rest of the game. They'll show you. Like I said, I'm gonna see if I could put together a collage of all of the things that I'm gonna get when I get me some more time. I'm working it together. We'll put a collage of all the stuff that Mickey Loomis says, and I'm gonna play that here so y'all can understand what the Dollar Tree elitist Mickey Loomis is there. Even Gail is a billionaire, multi time billionaire. She's worth over $6 billion and doesn't even have that kind of energy. She don't have come out here with that smugness. This is a worker with a smug disposition, which is a front because he's a moron. He don't know what he's doing. Dennis, you're gonna work your ass off. And what you gonna do, Mickey? I don't know. Do it better. Do it faster. Whatever it is, faster. Start quoting Twister and Kanye. Crazy. All right, but anyway, man, listen, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. Listen, a couple of hours from now from LSU in Alabama. That's at 6:00. But I wanted to holler at y'all, man, on this stream. I know it went a little longer than what I wanted to do, but that's always the case. We having fun. I'd like to thank all of these super chatters and cash appers. Much love to you guys. Appreciate you. I'm gonna be back on Sunday so we can go over the broadcast here and kind of talk about things and bust it and break it down. But listen, fam, truly, I really have I have high expectations in terms of the Saints making the moves. There is, like I said, in terms of the organization at the top, there is a fracture between the trust factor that was involved that Gail was using with Lauscher and Loomis. She realized something, and there is, like the article says, it's her and her group, and Mickey Loomis that's a different group. So she has different leadership, which is what I said when we talk about these matters, that she needs to have her own people because those guys are what her dead husband left her. She needs to establish the identity of this team herself. So this is her doing her due diligence and her keeping her ears to the streets, talking to the players, talking to the support base. That is pause for optimism, because there will be changes, no doubt about that. In terms of in season right now, will the Saints be able to beat the Falcons tomorrow? I do think the Saints will beat the Falcons. I think it'll be a very gutty game. I think, and y'all know it's always animated games. It's always really good games between the Saints and Falcons. Throw out the records, right? Throw the records out. It's always a contest between these two teams. The Saints at home, they're 2-7. They have everything in the world to play for. Not to discount Atlanta. They got a good team. But it's about who wants it more. You want to tell me that Atlanta wants it more than the Saints, who just fired their coach, as a new energetic coach? They're tired of losing 7 in a row. They can't allow the Falcons. It's just too much lined up for me to understand it. Plus, the Saints understand that their season is on the line. Atlanta can afford to lose this game. The Saints cannot. So they're going to let it all hang out. The veterans understand, the people understand that the season's on the line. And their jobs is on the line too, because a new coach comes in. Those coaches, a lot of those guys are not going to be here. Guy going to bring in his own people. They still have control. Trust me, in their heads. They understand that. So I'm going to give the Saints for this week the win over the Falcons because of all those. This is the proper environment for them to get a win. They have to prove it to themselves that they're good as they think they are. And I think we have enough time to kind of turn that corner and get the win. It won't be a blowout, but I do expect them to beat them between 3 to 7 points. So we'll see, right? And we'll be here tomorrow. 11:45 is the time right there that I'll fire up the pregame, and then we'll go right into the watch party, man. So it's all good. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get out on that. Also, shout out to our sponsors, man. Mint Mobile, for its cheaper cell phone service. Please feel free to check out Mint Mobile. They're a sponsor of the platform, man. Just go out there if you guys are trying to save money on your cell phones. A cell phone bills are big. I got me and my sons on my cell phone plan, and Mint Mobile has really good deals there. Their service is really good, and they got cheap deals. So if y'all want to at least go and investigate and see, what they got, and see if they can save you some money on your plan, check out Mint Mobile. The link's in the description section below. Teach Henley, y'all guys, for the brothers, y'all know what that is. That is the skincare products, man. So you can look good for your significant other. And bet online, man. If you can't make money with the Saints, make money on the Saints. God damn it, they do it to you. So yeah, bet online is there too. So shout out to our sponsors. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description. That's our merch. Our Rise Up to Fall Down gear is available in the description section as well. Also, the Show Me merch is available there. Links in the description section below to several merch shops that fund the platform. So with that being said, I'm gonna get out on that, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all keep y'all heads up, and we're gonna get through this. Much love. Who that to you?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. Thank God every day I'm not a Falcon. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL to entertainment and political props. Head to BetOnline today and get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That and all of it. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. Remember, it helps the